welcome to Watch, Review, Repeat. This is the podcast where two best friends discuss the latest in film and television and then do it all over again the following episode.
Occasionally.
Yeah, we do it sometimes. Roughly quarterly. My name is Colton Brown, and joining me is a stranger who I barely recognize, but I think it's Mr. Andrew Meadows. I'm not sure. It's still
me. I'm still in the same place. The one who is a stranger in different locations is yourself.
Yeah, that's true. I guess that's a very valid point. My surroundings are quite a bit different because I've been living in a new house I've been living here for a few weeks now, which is to say it has been a hot minute since we have sat down and recorded in any space whatsoever. But God damn it, we are back. We are so back,
yes,
motherfuckers. So we're here to talk about a movie that came out probably a month ago. Now that the people at home have hopefully listened to our episodes on movies that came out 2 months ago or whatever. Between Deadpool and Wolverine, and I guess The Acolyte was quite delayed as well. It was so delayed that we talked about it before the show got canceled. That's right. I'm throwing a headline in right away. Show's been canceled. We didn't talk about that at all. But, we can talk about it now. We can talk about it on another episode. I don't know. But either way, that just goes to show how long the delay was. I did put those things up on Patreon. So they were sitting there for a hot minute for people to support us on Patreon and listen early. But, I did that because I knew that it was going to be a long, long time that they were sitting in the editing bay as I went through the moving process, the settling process, and let me tell you right now, the moving part is done. The settling part, work in progress. But things we will talk about throughout the remainder of this episode. We have a lot to talk about. We got to catch up on things. It's been so long. I got to hear about Andrew's life. I got to, fill him in, fill everyone in on obviously what's going on here. If anyone hasn't detected it yet, I'm sick, so I'm starting things off on the right foot.
We both got a little bit of it, I think.
We'll see if I lose my voice at some point in this episode. I'm still trying to channel my inner podcast voice best I can. I've got some tea. I'm laying off the alcohol tonight. I'm like really committed to feeling okay. But I'm really, really excited to talk about Alien Romulus.
Boy, long time coming.
I'm very excited to talk about it. I saw it a few weeks ago now. You would have seen it probably a month ago now, so hopefully we still remember it. I think it's got some memorable things in it, good and bad perhaps, or at least, good and bad maybe is too harsh, but interesting things to talk about it. We'll talk about it. We'll get into it. But man, I'm excited. I'm excited to get into so many things. Alien Romulus, obviously trailers and headlines and just everything. It's going to be fun unpacking everything that's been going on. And of course, it's fair to say that unless we're going to be here for 4 or 5 hours tonight, which I don't think that either of us will have the literal stamina to do that. We will have plenty more to catch up on future episodes, but the hope certainly is a return to some more normalcy. Now that things are relatively stable. I'd say relatively stable. Certainly relative to the past month or so, it's been a bit of a whirlwind. But again, things we'll get to in a little bit. So I do, in classic, we couldn't come back to Watch, Review, Repeat, after a month plus hiatus and not have a fun fact at the top of the episode. I mean, obviously, kind of throwing out some personal fun facts with what's been going on with me with the move and all that, but I'm going to save a lot of that for catching up. So, do you have a fun fact about Alien Romulus? Anything?
It's been so long, I forgot about fun facts.
You forgot that was a section, even though that was the section that you invented yourself,
yes,
Mr. Gerkins?
And I continuously struggle to find fun facts.
You haven't been able to top yourself. You started real strong, and it's been a slow decline. Well, I'm here to pick you up. I'm here to pick you up. And I thought if you had a fun fact in your back pocket, you might be able to worm your way into this one. Is how I feel about it. So you might notice the title of this movie is Alien Romulus. Does that word Romulus, does that mean anything to you? Does that stand to you in any particular way?
So the Roman nature is not.
It is a little bit of the Roman nature for sure. Do you have any insight into maybe who Romulus was in terms of Roman mythology or anything like that? Do you have any insight? I didn't know if this is something that might have come up in your Stephen Fry books that you've been listening to or anything like that.
Is
because one
is Romulus
he did
is
like
Romulus
a Greek thing.
the wolf that like is responsible for the birth of Rome or something like that?
There you go. Yeah. You're on the right track. Yeah, you got that. It's somewhere in the memory banks, right?
Yeah, it's somewhere. Like it's
because one of those books that he did was Rome or Roman focused, right? Am I wrong?
The heroes. No, it was all Greek. Everything. It was all Greek. It was all Greek mythology.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough. Although isn't it part of a thing where the Greek stuff bleeds into Rome? Like
so the Greeks
like
they're
Roman sort of
Empire.
related, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they
I don't
kind
know
of
if it quite goes
absorbed
into that, but
Roman Empire kind of absorbed the mythology a little bit.
Gotcha,
but
gotcha.
Am I on the right track though?
You are on the right track. You're the mythology guy, which is why I was trying to see if I could maybe hand it off to you. If you had some other insight, really, I could bring Anna in here. I'm sure she could school us both. But I've got Wikipedia.
Okay, that's good.
Anna's downstairs. That's right, downstairs. We've got multiple levels in this house. The second floor. We're in the office, second floor, just to set the scene for everyone. I'm shut in. There's actually a deck, outside. Although it's not like fully set up. We got, you could walk out there, cool off a little bit.
Incredible.
But yeah, no, it's good stuff. Saving that for later. So Romulus. Romulus and Remus, if you recognize those two names together in tandem, they are twin brothers whose story tells the events that led to the founding of Rome, the city of Rome, and the Roman kingdom at the time. And one of the common symbols that you see, which I think you kind of mentioned, is a she-wolf suckling the twins, Romulus and Remus. So yeah, it's kind of an origin myth for the founding of Rome is kind of the idea behind it. And in terms of the context of the movie, without getting into spoilers, obviously, there is a space station in this movie, which is called the Romulus Space Station, and turns out there's also a sister station that it is attached to called the Remus. So it's following in the long trend of things in the Alien franchise being named after characters, places from classic mythology. I think prior to this, largely Greek-focused, Prometheus being obviously a very, very obvious example. But
was the Nostromo
planetoid?
Is that related?
I don't know if the Nostromo. I'm not seeing Nostromo in this particular list. That might be pulled from something else, or just a word that they settled on. But other examples include the USS Auriga from Alien Resurrection. Great movie. I haven't seen it in a while, though. But the planetoid Acheron from Aliens, which is named after a river in the Greek underworld.
Okay.
And funnily enough, Anna just texted me and said, I'm the mythology guy. And she probably didn't hear when I said a minute ago that she could come in here and school us both. So maybe she heard it when I said it out loud. Maybe I should say it a little bit louder so that if someone were downstairs, they could theoretically hear me say that through a closed door. But I can text her as well and let her know that I did give her full credit. Oh, she heard it that time. All right. We're
very
good.
nice.
We are covered. We're covered. Marriage is still intact. We're good. But yeah, those are some examples. So, it's playing with a little mythological shit,
That is cool.
I know you dig that for sure. You spend a lot of time, diving into that world. I married someone who's very into that sort of thing. And, it kind of rubs off on,
It's pretty cool. It's interesting shit,
pretty cool stuff. If you're going to take some inspiration from something, Greek, Roman mythology, that's a hell of a place to go, So, so that's my fun fact about Alien Romulus. The movie Alien Romulus, which we will talk about after we talk about some other things. And in classic watch review repeat fashion, we did a little intro, a little dialogue, shooting the shit a little bit. We did a fun fact. Oh boy, here we go. It's been over a month. Now we have to have an in memoriam section.
Oh,
and,
stop it!
And indeed, that's where we find ourselves right now to talk about. One person, one man, who has left us, and oh man, man leaves a crater behind, because this is one of the most legendary actors of all time, James Earl Jones. You know, he was 93 years old, so we can say that he had an incredibly storied, lengthy, fulfilling career. But at the same time, this is an incredibly sad loss to lose James Earl Jones, who, among many, 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 many other things, of course, voiced Darth Vader in the original trilogy, in Revenge of the Sith, and Rogue One. I think in Rebels as well. I think he came back into Rebels, I think, for Vader's appearances there. Field of Dreams. The Sandlot, I think, is a classic
The Lion King.
childhood role for me. The Lion King, Mufasa. We're going to talk about fucking Mufasa later, and yeah, he's Mufasa.
Judge Dredd.
Sure, Doctor Strangelove. 1964. Driving Miss Daisy. No, it lost to Driving Miss Daisy. He's not in that. I was like, I think that's Morgan Freeman in that. I was like, someone's doing some questionable things in this article. But it's me. It's me scanning around things. That was the questionable thing, is trying to jump around. But what else? What else have we got? Conan the Barbarian, Coming to America, The Hunt for Red October, Patriot Games,
Stop
Clear
it.
and Present Danger. As you said, Judge Dredd. Oh, Coming to America with the number 2 as well. Lots of TV appearances, sitcoms, and many other things. Roots, The Next Generation. I mean, just an incredible story career, as I said. He is technically an EGOT, which is to say that he's won an Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony. Deadline does point out the distinction that his Oscar was honorary, which I think was probably a recognition of his career. He was
Never
nominated
actually
for
had a
I don't think he had a
Oscar for
straight
role?
up win. It looks like he was nominated for lead actor, and The Great White Hope 1971 film did not win, but was given the honorary Oscar at the 2012 Oscars. 8-time Emmy nominee, won twice, 1991 for Gabriel's Fire and Heat Wave. Broadway, what did he do? He won Tonys for The Great White Hope, which I guess he then went on to apparently reprise that role in film, as well as August Wilson's Fences, 1987. Yeah, so
Man.
kind of hard to top that, in terms of just, talk about legacy. You talk about the impact that someone like James Earl Jones had.
For sure.
Just
the
a
presence
truly
and all the
iconic
roles,
presence.
Yeah.
Yeah,
At least in
his
the two
voice,
roles,
the gravitas.
the two roles that, one property. There's 4 posters of this property. The character that he's played is present in at least 4 statues in this room. Sure. He's lasting impact on the roles that he played,
on
lasting
Hollywood,
impact on my life. You know what I mean?
World, yeah.
He helped shape my
personally.
childhood.
Absolutely. Plays, what some would probably consider the most memorable and iconic villain of all time, or voiced it, at least.
Yeah.
Disrespect, obviously, to Dave Prowse as well, who obviously was very, integral in bringing Darth Vader to life. But
And every time
you listen
Mufasa
to the behind the
dies
scenes,
in The Lion King, I cry every single time.
Oh, of course. But you listen to the behind the scenes of Star Wars, and David Prowse, gets Scottish as fuck on you, and you're like, oh, that's not right. But James Earl Jones, man, just his voice alone, which to round out the EGOT conversation, he won a spoken word Grammy in 1977, which, given the voice, fucking makes sense alone.
A spoken word?
I don't know if he won the Grammy because of his voice, probably more for the content of what his voice was saying, but I think he could win it for the quality of his voice alone, personally. I think if that's what they're measuring, he would have won every year. As long as he was submitted.
Perfect tenor. It's awesome. Incredible.
But yeah, a huge loss. James Earl Jones,
It was a big one.
Big loss.
He has a theater named after him. How about that? I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, that's well deserved.
The James Earl Jones Theater.
So, 93 years old. I think I'm out of things to say.
Rest in peace.
I'm out of things to say right now. If I stewed on it, I could probably come back with another 5 to 10 minutes and then stew on it some more, come back with we could have a whole episode. We could have a whole podcast about the fucking career of James Earl Jones is what we could do. But I don't have time for that. But it would be pretty cool. Maybe someone probably already has done it too. They've probably already done it. That's
we did a Star Wars bonus episode.
We did do a Star Wars bonus episode. I mean, you want to do a Field of Dreams and a Sandlot and and some other things. Like, okay, all right. I could be persuaded. But isn't this interesting? James Earl Jones was in a Broadway production of Driving Miss Daisy, so I wasn't like totally off base and just randomly throwing it out
How
there.
about that?
Don't think he was in the film. But I don't know. Well, I take it back. They filmed a version of that play, so he is in Driving Miss Daisy,
the movie.
But anyway. Are you ready to move on to some other things?
What do we got in the news, man?
So we're doing something kind of particular with the news. I think, I hopefully can be forgiven for not completely remembering, but I think we covered San Diego Comic-Con on our Deadpool and Wolverine episode. As long ago as that was,
we did.
It's more recent for our listeners, in terms of release schedule. And they're like, yeah, that movie came out 6 months ago, my dude. I know. Yeah, they already made Deadpool 4, and Wolverine's, been recast in the MCU already. Like, yeah, I know. But we are going to talk about Disney's D23 exposition for 2024, D23 2024. And a little bit of synergy because Alien Romulus, you wouldn't really think of it this way, but it is technically a Disney property now. It is under the banner of 20th Century, which is under the banner of Disney, of Walt Disney. So in honor of our newest Disney movie, Alien Romulus, we're going to talk about all things Disney and Disney's subsidiaries and stuff like that. So, and honestly, there's a fuck ton to get through. And so I think that trying to add anything beyond that would it'd be too much for how much we have to talk about on this episode, including Alien Romulus, of course, and just anything else. So, other news will come later. We'll have other projects that we'll talk about, and we'll get to some non D23 news and try to play catch up and get ourselves back up to speed, and then take some time off around the holidays and subsequently get behind again. It's a vicious cycle, but it is what it is. With these quarterly episodes, man, it's really tough. So we're going to start on the nice fluffy end of Disney. We're going to start with the animated side of things. With I guess I don't know what the actual studio is. Disney Animation Studios.
Sounds right.
Like that. Yeah, that sounds right. We've got a lot going on. A lot of projects announced. A lot of sequels. I will say a lot of sequels announced for classic Disney properties. Some sequels you probably didn't expect to get, but god damn it, you're getting them. And so, kind of just running down the list, I'm going to spit some at you. There are some trailers and stuff we'll talk about separately as well, so I'll bypass those for now. But I'm gonna hit you with them. You tell me if you're interested, and if you have any thoughts, let me know. But feel free to interrupt as we go through this list, because it's not. I don't have it super organized. It would have been 2 pages of shit probably.
Yeah, right.
So here we go. Incredibles 3. This is Disney and Pixar. We've got Incredibles 3 officially in the works. Director Brad Bird is returning to direct.
Okay.
So Incredibles 2 was the highest grossing animated film of all time until extremely recently, when it was dethroned by a movie that we didn't cover called Inside Out 2, which will probably
Inside
be
Out was
Disney
the highest grossing animated film ever.
That's right. Yeah, so there's a little.
How did we miss that? They did it without us.
They did it without us. That's for sure. We're waiting for Disney Plus. We might have to circle back around to that when it comes out, and little baby B can enjoy some Inside Out too. But yeah, Incredibles 3. What do you think? Interested in that? You like the first 2?
I can't remember if I saw Incredibles 2 or not.
Well, I can tell you that you definitely did, because we covered it. But it was.
Oh, did we? Okay.
It was about 6 or 7 years ago, so you can be forgiven.
Okay. I remember liking the first one, and I'm sure I liked the second one. And that's Baby Jack.
Yeah, Jack. Yeah.
Jack. I remember. Yes. Okay. Yeah. I enjoyed it. I'm sure if they got a story to tell, I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure it'll be good.
Yeah. I concur with that. Interesting that it'll be in
Bird's a pretty good director too. If
Brad
I'm not mistaken.
Bird, he's good. Yeah, no, a good director. He did Mission Impossible: Ghost Protocol, which is pretty good, and then a lot of other Pixar stuff too. But close proximity to Fantastic Four live action movie it's kind of interesting because The Incredibles has kind of always been the best version of those characters that we've seen. So we'll see what happens with that. All right. Also on the Pixar front, Toy Story 5.
Oof.
Numero cinco. Woody, Buzz, the gang are back. And they're trying to stop their new kid from becoming an iPad kid. It's Toy Meets Tech, teases director Andrew Stanton. Summer of 2026. We're going to get Toy Story 5. Toys versus tech. What do you think?
I think that's going to be really good.
Yeah, I feel like Toy Story has not missed, unless you include Lightyear, which I don't know if you do, and I also never saw it. And I feel like I heard it was like weird and not great. I don't know if it was bad necessarily. I guess you could speak to that more than I could.
It was weird and not great. Yeah.
Okay.
That's the way I'd put that.
But mainline Toy Story 1 through 4. Pretty fucking
awesome.
good. Even 4, which felt like 3 was such an incredible ending. What the fuck do we need 4 for? It was kind of Woody's story in a way, but I still feel like it actually like surprised me in that it, felt like it still had a reason to exist. I mean, we all know number one reason is money. But these things fucking print money. But I think that there's still room for good storytelling within the Toy Story franchise. So
I think it's a good story to tell. I think it's compelling.
Yeah, I think that could totally work. Yeah, down with that. Frozen 3 coming to theaters November of 2025. I'm sorry, 2027. That makes more sense. I was like, holy shit, next year. Holy fuck, they've been cooking. Or they've been freezing, I guess. I don't know. 2027 makes way more sense. Frozen 3. Anna and Elsa, they're back. They're teasing already Frozen 4 as well. There's going to be a pro shot version of the Frozen Broadway musical on Disney Plus in 2025. So something is coming out.
Oh, so it's like a Hamilton treatment?
Like a Hamilton treatment for the Frozen Broadway musical. That could be interesting. So yeah, that and Frozen 3. Are you in on the Frozen franchise? Where are you at with that?
Yeah, sure. Give me a story.
You got a fucking kid. Like you're gonna watch every animated movie that comes out at some point.
Yeah.
Are you seeing it in the theater? I don't know. I mean, you didn't see the biggest animated movie of all time in a theater.
No, baby's still young. 2027, we might be able to see that in theater.
That's true. You could actually take him. That's the difference. Right now is you're not really taking him. So
right.
All right, Zootopia 2. That is coming out in 2025.
Zootopia is pretty fun. I think that's the one with the rabbit.
That is the one with the rabbit. She's a little cop, although I think she's not a cop this time because we don't want to have animated movies about animated animal cops. We don't want to glorify that profession anymore.
Jesus Christ!
But Kiwi Kwan has joined the cast. He's going to be playing a snake named Gary.
Gary.
So Thanksgiving of 2025 is Zootopia 2. It's a long time coming. I feel like first one came out a decade ago, or around a decade ago, something like that. It's been a long fucking time. So I'm down. First one was great. I haven't seen it in a while, but really, really enjoyed it. So there's that. Elio, which we got a teaser for a way back, and then I think they super, super duper delayed it. Another Pixar one.
That's the one-eyed kid, right?
I think so. Yes, correct. And that's June 2025. So I think that may in sequence be the next Pixar we're getting, unless there's one this holiday season that I'm blanking on. But I wonder if this was originally supposed to be that and then got bumped. So I don't know for sure, but I think that's kind of where I'm at with that. So I think that's it for the animated announcements. So again, that was a mix of Disney animation, which is the Frozen and Zootopia, and then Pixar is obviously Toy Story and others too. So yeah, guess we've kind of covered that. Any other thoughts on that? Ready to talk some trailers?
Some good stuff on the horizon. I'm excited.
Very good. Yeah, definitely. Like I said, lots of sequels and stuff like that, but sequels to storied franchises where you could, you just got to do it right. At the end of the day, there's room for a lot of storytelling and all. There's a lot of potential for all these to really, really work. So the next sequel that we are definitely getting quite soon is for Moana 2. So we have an official trailer for that. I feel like we've talked about it in like small increments. We got like a 10-second thing, and then we got like a 1.5-minute teaser. Full on 2-minute trailer. Here we go. November 27th. This is coming out this year. Moana 2. It was kind of transformed from an original Disney Plus series into now a feature-length movie. I think visually it doesn't look like a TV show, which is good. I think that, the water and everything looks incredible.
Sand looked pretty good in it.
Sand, water, like it looks visually amazing.
It's a feast.
I think it's a feast. It is a feast for the senses. So that much can be said, certainly, I think, without much controversy or anything like that. But what about the story and everything else? Is this trailer pulling you in? What do you think?
Yeah, I think that this looks like return to form for Moana. I really, really, really enjoyed the first Moana. I think it's a really incredible movie.
And it also feels like it's been the same thing. Not quite Zootopia long, but it's been a little while since the first one came out, right?
Yeah, and it really looks like the story seems... the story and animation seem like they let it bake. I mean, naturally, Moana's a moneymaker for sure. It's one of their best IPs. And I really think they let this one stew a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, clearly, if it was gonna be a thing, and then I feel like they announced that TV show years ago.
Yeah.
I'm looking 2020 is when they announced that show. So, and maybe that was early days, but still it clearly came to a point where they realized, well, maybe we'll just make way more fucking money by putting a movie out. Maybe it's less work because it's shorter overall. Maybe the story doesn't need 6-8 episodes or, whatever the answer is. It's just like, just make a sequel. Sometimes like, I don't know. It's a novel concept, I guess. But I feel like,
it's not novel for Disney,
Well, clearly not. They made Moana 2 out of the TV show. Like, could have done a Toy Story TV show.
We tried to do something different, but fuck it.
We're just going to made Frozen 3 instead of Frozen the TV show. Like maybe that's the way. Especially for these high caliber animation projects, like you can see the fucking work that goes.
It's a question.
I just
was the old Bob responsible for, was he on board with TV show?
Good question.
I think so,
probably,
right? Old Bob.
Was probably old Bob.
Yeah, so Bob comes back to
now,
work.
Hey, this is where we're getting confused, because which one is old Bob now? Is because there's Bob Iger,
Bob? Yeah.
who was OG Bob.
Yes,
okay,
OG
if you
Bob.
want to distinguish.
No.
And then there was new Bob at the time, which was Bob Chapek.
So Bob Chapek,
old Bob, because he got shit canned, and then OG Bob came back in.
Right. So Bob Chapek, new Bob said, "Hey, I got a brilliant idea. Let's not do a sequel. Let's do a TV show." And then they bring OG Bob back, right? And it's like, "What the fuck are you guys doing? Just do a sequel." And that's probably what happened.
Yeah. I think. Yes, that's probably some version of it. I think OG Bob does deserve some blame, because I think that he is responsible for, I think, the initial surge and push for all the Disney Plus content. But I think Bob Chapek, very much took that to heart. And so it was, very much, I think, about furthering that goal. And then OG Bob probably returned and was like, this model is losing money in a way that we don't really want it to. Why don't we just go back to the way that, now that we're more or less past the horrors of, COVID, keeping theaters closed. We've seen movies here and there. We've seen an Inside Out 2. We've seen Deadpool and Wolverine. We've seen Spider-Man No Way Home. Like, we've seen movies that just blow the fucking doors down, and kids movies can still do that clearly too. So I think that there's been a clear recalibration of strategy, not just like Marvel wise and stuff of doing fewer shows and stuff per year, but probably animation stuff too. Just being like, just make a fucking hour-and-a-half movie, man. Like, and it's going to make $1 billion probably, So, I think it looks good. I like that first one a lot. I think the music is great in it. I don't know that, I don't think Lin is back. I don't think Lin-Manuel is back to do any music for this, as far as I'm aware. But I'm sure they got super talented folks stepping in, and helping out. So it's tough. Sequels are tough. Maybe that's the challenge of why you don't do it. As a TV show has lower expectations, you can kind of get away with it being a little relative to a first one. But sequels do something different, push it in a new, different, exciting direction, and reward your audiences for it. I don't need to see the same movie again, but bringing these familiar characters back, there's a sequel that could have been made without Maui that probably would have been fine, but it's Moana. It's a kids movie. You want Moana and Maui ultimately
on an adventure
back together at the end of the day on an adventure, and it looks like the adventure is going to take them to a different place. And I don't know. I'm in. I'm super in. I'm.
It's interesting too. Is the kids that grew up, the kids that appreciated Moana as the slightly younger girl, those core audiences.
They've grown up.
They've grown up with Moana.
Moana's a little older now too.
I always think that's fascinating. The How to Train Your Dragon did that too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, did that really fucking well.
Yeah, they did. So I think I enjoyed that a lot. In some ways, they do what live action stuff can't do or struggle to do.
Right.
So
all right. Well, you might catch me in a movie theater around November 27th when Moana 2 debuts. Now, March 21st of 2025, we're going to jump over to the Disney live action adaptations of their classic animated films. I don't know if March 21st I'm going to be stepping into a theater. I don't know yet. But we're getting Disney's Snow White on that date. We have a teaser trailer for it. Rachel Zegler is playing Snow White. Gal Gadot is playing the
fairest one of all, easily.
Yeah.
She doesn't need to talk to a mirror. She could probably talk to me. I'd give her the answer.
it's like a classic sort of thing where her mental perception is very warped of things, so that's the problem. The queen, not the evil witch. I forget the evil queen, whatever. They're all, you know what I'm talking about. So I do think that no, I think my brain just blocked it. I was going to say, I think this teaser did an okay enough job of hiding the dwarves, because we've seen still images of them, and they look absolutely fucked, which is not me trying to be offensive. It is more commenting on the fact that they've decided to make these CGI abominations of people, dwarves, and it looks absolutely fucked. But I think the teaser, number one, didn't show them off a lot, which is probably intentional from a marketing standpoint. And number two, I think everything in this looked fucked. So visually, they actually don't stand out as much as I thought they would, because nothing in this looks right. It all looks fucking wrong. Green screen.
It's a Pinocchio
weirdness.
Situation.
Yeah. And so the end result is, holy shit, I think this looks like
even
might be
her
the worst with them
clothes
yet.
Even her clothes look like they're
it's like Green Lantern, they're painted on her or something.
Yeah,
and I don't know that they are. She's probably actually wearing a costume, but because her environment is so just animated looking in a bad way, and a not real sort of way. I guess, if you wanted to have this be some sort of weird surrealistic sort of kind of thing, that might be one thing, but I don't think that's the intent. I think it's trying to make it look fantastical and stuff, and in the process, everything just looks off-putting, visually off-putting.
It's weird. It looks
weird and bad, and yeah, it's just the animals too.
Yeah,
the animals don't look quite lifelike. Then again, that might be intentional, but then it's fucking weird and off-putting because
you're going for a lifelike animal. Why wouldn't you make it fucking lifelike?
Yeah, I'm not really grasping what the
intention is here,
the direction is here, because everything just seems wrong and uncanny valley type, hurting my brain types of
who's responsible for
sorts
this?
Of things.
Is there anything?
So it's directed by Mark Webb, who did the Amazing Spider-Man movies.
Okay, that jives.
Yeah, concur. I don't know what he's done recently. Not much of anything, I don't think. Yeah, this is first movie he's directed in 8 years.
How do you go from that to Snow White's like a massive, massive thing.
I don't know. Maybe he was doing some TV stuff. He's probably, it looks like he was doing some TV stuff. So I don't know.
Jeez.
I don't know. They just needed someone to just go stand around on a green screen and call it and just shoot pointing camera.
You can just wear a green shirt. Just wear a green shirt when you come in.
Everyone could just they got to wear something different so they don't totally blend in. But as long as they wear a blue shirt on the green screen or a green shirt on the blue screen, we're good. And everyone's good. We'll fix it all in post. We'll fix it all later. Because there were set pictures that leaked of like Snow White frolicking with people and, like multicolored outfits and stuff like that. And so I think there was clearly a reaction to that, and they changed it at some point from real people who I don't believe were actual, little people to, we've got to paint over everyone and turn them into weird CGI dwarf abominations.
Yeah, I do remember that. It was quite the controversy whenever they were like...
Because they were going to be like magical creatures or whatever. Yeah, they weren't going to be dwarves. They weren't, we were going to do the 7 dwarves. And it's like, you could just, I don't know, hire actual, actors, that, would be height accurate and, would actually, fit this role and, probably give them opportunities that most movies don't afford them. I don't know. I don't know if that's a weird, bold stance to take, but it's like...
It seems like the obvious choice here.
But I think arriving on fucking it up in the first place and then painting over it with shit is just so much work. It's the ugly Sonic to maybe it's the marketing ploy. We talked about that, but I don't know.
Imagine shooting live animals and then putting the frames together, and then you could actually have like some live action animals in there or something,
Yeah, or maybe just like borrow it from the Lion King instead of going into, like a new technology of taking a deer but then making it look kind of fucked, Yeah.
So, what are you doing? I don't know.
So March 21st, are you in?
No.
Are you in? Okay.
No,
you might be.
Not in at all.
All right. Well, how about December 20th of this year, 5 days for the birth of Christ? Will you be in a theater? Well, we know what you'll be doing on the 25th. We've already established you will be seeing
no doubt.
Nosferatu.
I will be spending the Christ's birthday, the most sacred of holidays, watching a movie about the most demonic creature man has ever come up with. I can't think of more of an Eggers thing. He said, I know Eggers said, we must release this Spawn of Satan movie.
We know how Robert Eggers feels about organized religion. All right, but 5 days earlier, will you perchance be seeing Mufasa, the Lion King? We have an official trailer for it, and I want to know if this sold you on the epic story of how an orphan became a king.
So I think we got like a teaser. We talked about a teaser at some point.
We did talk about a teaser, which I think was more, visual stuff, less specific story beats, I think, in that one. This is very much what's the story.
Well, I don't need this.
Well, who the fuck asked for this is an obvious question to ask. I know it made money. I get it. Everything obviously comes back to the fact that, if we're making a sequel, we're not making a sequel unless the first one was profitable in some way, because otherwise we're Sony, and everyone else is like, whatever Sony does, do the opposite of that model, which is if it makes money, make more of them. So that's why we're here. I think it's fair enough to answer that way, but it's like creatively, it's like, okay, all right. So you did the full. Johnny V did the whole thing, and it looked the same, but it was longer and worse. Okay.
Yeah.
So where do you go from here? And it's like, well, how many of these other ones are getting, we didn't have Aladdin 2, we didn't have Cinderella 2. So it's like, why is this the one that's getting the sequel? I guess because it made a bunch of fucking money. So I don't know. Anyways, I don't have a good answer for you.
I will say that this trailer surprised me.
All right. There we go. Okay. All right.
It surprised me with a I don't know, just seems like a neat direction, right? See how Mufasa grew up with such an asshole brother named Scar. Mm-hmm. And it also kind of if now that we know that Mufasa was an orphan and Scar's family took him in, and somehow Mufasa's the king and Scar's not, kind of explains why Scar's such a dick to Mufasa. You know what I mean? Why he wants to throw him off the side of a mountain and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think that, I don't know, kind of comes at it from a direction that I didn't see coming. So for that reason alone, it's like, okay, it sounds like you have a story that you want to tell. Animation still seems like I'm still not a fan of the animation style. But
it's hard for me to explain, but I feel like
it's better.
It's
I think it's a little bit better, but
I think it seems to be more animated and less concerned with being hyper realistic.
Yeah, let's
if that makes sense.
Take a second.
Like relative to the Johnny V one, like that one just felt like it was so.
It does. You know what it is? It's the eyes. I can see it immediately in little baby.
Yeah, and I think that there was a weird disconnect with that one where it was just like, oh, this is too far. You know, Snow White is too far one direction where it's like, okay, that doesn't look realistic in any way. Lion King was too realistic. You can't have talking animals that are too realistic because then it just fucks with your head.
Yeah,
and this feels like it is somewhere in that middle ground. I don't know if it's perfect. You know, I think it's still obviously leaning more on the hyper realistic side of things, but the eyes, the mouths, you know, everything is a bit more expressive and more, you know, how an animated movie would be. You know, whereas it's, you know, before it was just like the most minimal mouth movements. You know, or the eyes were you know, way more realistic looking in the sense that they weren't as expressive, and so you kind of just lost, I think, a lot of the emotionality of what made the original Lion King so fucking that it would bring you to tears when Mufasa dies in the original. Spoilers.
Yeah.
You know, you didn't have that same moment recreated with the same sort of magic and that Johnny V Lion King one. And so here, I don't know how much resonance the story is going to have, you know, because it's telling a different story and we don't maybe know how the beats of this are going to go exactly, other than, I mean, fucking Mufasa is going to be a Lion King at some point. We can pretty much guarantee that. But I think that it might do a better job of capturing the emotions of it, you know, when all of your characters are all these animals, you know what I mean? And the way that you can fully, totally buy into it in the animated format. And again, I know this is an animated format, but it's so different from your 2D hand-drawn animated that, you know, it's a lot easier to sink into those things. Here, I think you got a bigger hill to climb, but it feels like with this animation style, even though it's not as maybe hyper-realistic, at least as I can remember the Johnny V Lion King being, maybe this is a better direction to actually sell the emotions, the moments, the characters, and stuff like that. So, yeah.
And it looks like it looks like they borrow a lot of the... a lot of moments from the original too. Like there's moments where they're hopping on top of the hippos. There's the stars in the sky. There's some beats that are kind of like lifted from the original Lion King. So I don't know. I think that also there's a stampede inside of a valley, and then he's like hiding from the bird's there too. Can't remember the bird's name, but. There's a lot of things that look like it's lifted wholesale from the original cartoon. So I'm going to be interested to see.
Definitely still got the touchstones. Yeah.
I wonder if this is like a Lion King like 2.0 in a way. Kind of like taking advantage of the technologies that they did to like redo the first one, but this is kind of like telling this is almost like a, hey, listen, we fucked up on that first one. This is us telling a kind of a fresh story. It's kind of like a revamped telling of the same story, especially with it touching on a lot of the same beats. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm interested though in ways that I wasn't interested before. So that's cool.
Well, that's what a trailer is designed to do. So mission accomplished. Disney marketing team. December 20th, Mufasa, the Lion King. And I think with that, I think it's time to get out of Disneyland, Disney World. We're going to still talk other Disney things, but we're going to talk some other things outside of, more traditional Disney types of things. So let's hop on a light cycle and talk about the next Tron movie that's coming out, Tron Ares. Of course, led by the finest actor of his generation, Jared Leto, playing Ares. Starring alongside him are Jeff Bridges, Evan Peters, Greta Lee. Tron Ares. It's hitting theaters October 10th, 2025. They showed off, some looks at it at D23 for those who were in attendance, which is to say that we didn't get to look at it too much, but we did get some pretty big fucking news about it, which, I gotta say, Jared Leto leading a Tron movie. I mean, you know, it's a real up and down sort of thing. New Tron movie. Oh fuck yeah, 100% in. Jared Leto's lead. Oh fucking hell, I'm out. Here we go. We're gonna go back up. 9 Inch Nails will be composing the film's soundtrack. You son of a bitches, I'm back in.
Got me back.
I'm back in. You know, if you can't reassemble Daft Punk, you know, to come back and do another Tron, shit, man, this is like this. It's
a pretty it's a good second.
I don't know that there's any better alternative than 9 Inch Nails. And what's interesting, and I don't know if this is a distinction without a difference, but it is 9 Inch Nails doing the score, not Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. So I don't know if it's just a branding thing, you know, just because 9 Inch Nails feels more like a on-brand sort of thing to do a Tron Ares type thing, or if their actual approach to it will be maybe closer to what they do for 9 Inch Nails than it is for how they score things typically. I don't know. Again, might just be a branding thing, but regardless of, you know, the quality of their fucking scores is top notch, has been top notch for a decade plus now. And it feels like a great marriage of sensibilities and style for something like a Tron movie. Yes, even one with Jared Leto at the top. But so I'm in. I'm back in on Tron Ares. How you feeling on it? You hot on
dude. Yeah. Like
you were on it. You were on some light cycles recently at Disney.
I was. It's incredible. Such a cool fucking ride. So it's such a cool queue. You know, the whole experience is just so awesome. It's very cool. Almost bought like the backpack with the like. You can buy a backpack with like like the disc thing that they fight with.
Oh yeah.
And you can snap it on the back of the backpack. And it's like it's a speaker. It's a Bluetooth speaker, you know?
So you had that in your hand and then someone looked at you and said, "No." Is that what happened? Or did you have enough restraint?
I actually had enough restraint because I want a Bluetooth speaker. It's something I've been wanting for a little bit. I'm getting in the weeds here. I've been wanting to buy a nice Bluetooth speaker.
Sure. Okay.
You know, throw it in the garage, and you know, if we go out on the water or whatever, I have it. I was like, I can get this Bluetooth speaker. It's like $80, you know, which is like halfway to like a really good one. But how good's the actual speaker? It's probably shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so that's what made me say no, is because the speaker would probably be shit. But yes, you know, Jared Leto's in some good movies that I like.
Jared Leto's not a bad actor. It should be said. It can be stated, and I can say that.
He's not the. He's a weird fucking.
I
dude.
dislike him personally. Is the issue, and
yeah.
I generally find him at this point in time to be more distracting than anything else in the roles that he does end up in, because it feels like he sometimes loses his ability to try to transform himself into someone else. You know, when he's just doing a Jared Leto type of performance, which is to say closer to who he is himself personally, then it's bad, you know, or he's you know, that one fucking shit movie that we watched during COVID with Rami Malek and Denzel, where he's just like a weird killer guy, and it's just like,
is it House of Gucci? No.
He was bad in that. He was transformed there, but in the wrong direction. You know, that's a fair point. He did. I'm a Gucci. Yeah, that was him not taking shit too seriously or not seriously enough. Unclear.
Hamming it up.
You know, Ridley Scott not reining him in. Part of the problem too. The Little Things is what I was thinking of. Which is a movie that your brain probably blocked out. In fact, you might have to Google right now and be like, "What the fuck is he talking about?" And that's the correct response. But it was, I couldn't describe it for you other than the 3 cast members, and it was somehow really bad.
Which one is this? What are you talking about? The
Little Things,
the COVID movie.
Yeah. It's
that movie.
Rami Malek and Denzel are police and or detectives or something, and then
shit.
And then Jared Leto's the killer, man. He's the killer.
He was in Blade Runner 2049, which is an incredible movie.
Which he's fine in.
I think he played it. I think he had some Letoisms.
He's a little Leto in that, and it kind of works for it in a way.
He's like a godlike guy. He's like
he's supposed to be a weird kind of aloof fuck,
high on his own shit. Okay.
Yeah, for sure. So he's kind of just, I am saying things in this particular way, you know, sort of thing, the whole movie. And it's like, all right, whatever. That's the character. It is what it is.
Do you think it's the same kind of deal in Tron? Do you think he plays that same kind of guy? I wonder what he plays. He plays Ares.
He plays Ares, I believe, is a program who escapes into the real world. Instead of them going into Tron, into the game,
the programs are leaving. I forgot about that.
The programs are well, I don't know if it's happened before, so I think that's but I think that's the thrust of this is that it has come out. The programs are getting into the real world. I don't know, he's doing it somehow. I don't fucking know, man. So
I don't know if I'm as excited about Tron knowing that it's not going in the fucking computer. They're coming out.
Well, it'll probably start. Maybe it'll bookend, start and end in the computer, but then the middle section will be filmed on some just pretty normal assets to save a few $1 million. But I believe that is that's
thrust of it.
That's what it's supposed to be about. Yeah, which I kind of concur doesn't thrill me. Go back in the fucking computer. Just
Tron's on a computer.
You want to give me a weird CGI Jeff Bridges again? That's fine, as long as you don't do it in the real world. That was the issue. Don't do it in the real world. No weird CGI creatures. Jared Leto kind of looks like a weird CGI man, but maybe that'll work. Maybe that's why they cast him. Because it'll kind of work. It's like, oh, his eyes are so piercing. They can't be real. No, it just looks like that. Just looks like that. It's crazy. He's a fucking computer program, man.
It's got Evan Peters in it.
It sure does.
What movie was he in?
Yeah. He's in lots of things. He was Dahmer. That's
monster. It. Yeah, he was a Dahmer, wasn't he? That's what it is. Okay.
Quicksilver. Fake Quicksilver in WandaVision.
Yeah, okay.
Many American horror stories.
Jeff fucking Bridges.
Mayor of Easttown. Yeah. So anyway, other thoughts on Tron Ares? Ready to move on to some other things?
Keep it moving, dude.
October 2025, we'll be getting Tron Ares. So, couple new titles for some upcoming things that are more 20th century side of things, like Alien Romulus. Yes, we are talking about that at some point in this episode. Stay tuned. Freakier Friday is coming in 2025. Freakier Friday. And guess who's back? Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan. They are back.
Whoa.
22 years later, sequel to the 2003 film, Freakier Friday. They're back as mother-daughter, and the Acolyte's Manny Jacinto is back, now that he doesn't have to come back for season 2. He's in it as a new character. And I guess they'll swap again. I mean, I don't know what else you do in a sequel. But they're both older, so maybe that lends like a different sort of wrinkle to it. Wrinkles, because Jamie Lee Curtis is an old hag now. So it's mostly joking. It's a joke. Although I do find her generally annoying. But I don't know. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Again, I don't know what else it'll be. So,
man, Lindsay Lohan's pushing 40 years old.
Yeah, well, that's what it says. That's now that everyone is so much older, that actually might make it still somewhat unique, even if it is kind of the same fucking story. Just that alone kind of might twist things around a little bit. So
she doesn't even look the same. She looks like a completely different person.
Yeah, she kind of was, had a rough go of things in her life personally for a long, long time. I think is kind of more recently gotten things a little bit more back on track.
Good for her.
Rehab and, legal issues and all that jazz. So, everyone's got to work through it.
Fame's no easy thing.
Fame is no easy thing. Being famous when you're a child, I think, is notoriously very, very difficult. A lot of kids, as they grow up, kind of get stuck in the whole, cycle of drugs and lots of bad things happening. So yeah, it happens. But hey, she's here. She's back. Making her triumphant return. And Freakier Friday. I don't know if it's she's returned, I think, a little bit already. We'll see how triumphant it is, I guess. But James Cameron's going to be making a triumphant return to theaters with his Avatar 3, which is now called Avatar Fire and Ash, because we're going to be getting some fucking
fire planet.
lava fire Navi or whatever. Fire Navi, yeah. We got the water ones last time. Now we get fire ones. He's really taken the whole Avatar thing to heart. Being like, oh, that's a really good idea. Maybe there's like nations,
so earth, like water,
there's like
fire.
A fire nation. Maybe there's just like these nations where they're, inspired by these elements and then really mold their society around how they can manipulate these elements. Oh my God, I'm a genius. I can't believe no one's come up with this idea before. And called it Avatar. So Avatar, Fire and Ash. What do you think about that? You excited for more Avatar?
Maybe
Navi? Spider's going to be back.
I think they're going to be like more.
Maybe he'll lose his dreads.
Like Gordos, you know?
Are they going to be the bigger and rounder? They could eat some rocks.
Like, what was different about the water Navi? What'd they do?
I feel like they were different, like color of like a shade of blue, and then they were really good at swimming. So
these Navi are going to have like rougher skin.
Yeah, really rough skin. Yeah,
and
yeah.
So that'd be cool. Like, hey, you thought my tech demo only did water and trees? No, it also does magma and rocks. Fire. Yeah, and ash.
And ash. Well, apparently one of the original rumored titles for this was The Seed Bearer. So I could say that Fire and Ash is
a far better name. Yeah,
Seed Bearer is just come on, man. You know, if you don't know what you're doing with that, someone's got to step in and tell you, Jimmy, Mr. Cameron. Actually, you can't call it.
We are all seed bearers, Jimmy.
Think of the memes, Mr. Cameron. Memes? What are memes?
Jesus!
I'm gonna
Christ,
I'm gonna send in OG Bob, and maybe he knows what's what. But anyway, December 19th, 2025, Avatar: Fire and Ash will make its way to theaters. Get ready to journey back to Pandora. In December of 2025. Avatar 3 of planned 5. And you know what?
How many more nations could there be?
I don't know.
Trees, water, fire.
We already got air. We got at least air for 4, and then 5,
they do have floating mountains and shit.
The 5 is when they all kind of come together, and maybe there's like this. Maybe there's like one Navi that can sort of really effectively use all 4 elements.
Oh shit!
What do you think about that? Pretty fucking.
And it's going to be like one of Sully's kids or something.
Yeah, it'll be Spider, his dreadlocks.
Yes.
As soon as he shaves them off, then he'll unlock his abilities.
And there's like a fucking arrow on his head.
Oh yeah, it's going to be cool. Oh, an arrow. Well, that's a really cool idea. Huh. I like that.
Novel.
I like that a lot. Anyway, I've trademarked all these ideas because they've never been done before. So
paychecks,
full
Jimmy.
Credit will be owed to me, Mr. Cameron. Thank you, sir. All right, let's move on. Good bit. Good fun bit there. I like that. It was good. Let's talk about Marvel. We got Marvel and Star Wars, and then we're done. And then we're done here. All right. So on the Marvel side of things, they showed off a little bit of the Fantastic Four, which is the same stuff they showed off at Comic-Con, so we can gloss over that.
Mm-hmm.
But they did show off some stuff with Daredevil Born Again and Ironheart, which are 2 TV shows that are going to be coming out next year, both 2025. We are getting one more TV show in 2024. We have a trailer for it. We'll talk about that next. But yeah, Ironheart, they showed off. It's got Dominique Thorne back as Riri Williams, who's introduced in Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Anthony Ramos is playing a villain in it. He's playing the Hood, who you may recognize as a character from the Marvel Snap video game. He has his own card, -3.
Oh, yeah.
Gets you a demon with it was 1 cost, 6 power. Ryan Coogler is executive producing this, obviously directed both those Black Panther films. Han Solo himself, no, not Harrison Ford, you dumbass. Alden Ehrenreich is in this as well. So they showed off a trailer. I think that if you search the internet, sail the high seas or whatever you need to do, you can find footage of this. I didn't ask you to look at it. I wouldn't encourage such behavior. But you could if you so chose. So Ironheart, you obviously saw that character's introduction in Black Panther 2. What do you think?
I remember her being pretty cool.
6-episode deal. Of her, they filmed this like 3 years ago too. Like they've been sitting on this shit forever, so it's kind of weird. But yeah. So you'd be interested in this?
Yeah. I remember enjoying her character in the show, and I like the I don't know. I like the idea of it's almost like it's almost like another Iron Man reboot in a little bit of a way. You know what I mean? just somebody that doesn't have these things, starts tinkering with these things and learns power sets and that sort of thing, and really enjoy the innovation that's like present in the first Iron Man. So maybe there's some of that, where they have to tinker and adjust things, and I don't know. It's more like a...
Yeah, because I think they snatched her suit from her at the end of Black Panther, so I think she's like kind of like building her own shit again in this. So I think it will kind of have those sorts of vibes, if I'm not mistaken, just from kind of what we...
I forgot that she actually had her full-on suit.
Yeah, she had like the weird anime fucking suit at the end. I'm kind of like, yeah, leave that in Wakanda. We don't need that shit.
I forget.
But it's okay. That's all right. It's for the best. But that's Ironheart. That's Ironheart. But there's also Daredevil Born Again, which we already kind of know, I think, a fair amount about. But they showed off, I think, a trailer for it. Charlie Cox is back as Matt Murdock, Daredevil. Vincent D'Onofrio is back as Wilson Fisk. Deborah Ann Wool, Eldon Henson back as Karen and Foggy. John Bernthal is back as the Punisher. We got to look at a new vigilante by the name of White Tiger, which I think is a different version of the one that we see in Marvel Snap, the video game, which is a 5-cost, 1 power, but it spits out another tiger spirit onto a different part of the board. For those
opposite end, right?
Interested to know, just one of the other two, because there's 3 lanes that you can play in, so it goes to one. It's a random of the other 2 lanes that it will go in. So, first look at Daredevil Born Again. I think, again, same thing. There was a trailer that came out. March 1st is the premiere date. I don't know if that had been announced or if we've talked about that. I can't recall, but March 1st is when it's coming out. So, we're as of recording, 6 months ish away from Daredevil Born Again coming out on Disney Plus, and I still think that if I am picking one TV show that I'm like, that's what I want, Daredevil Born Again is
absolutely, definitely 110%.
So yeah, that's kind of what we had some things, like I said.
I kind of want to watch Daredevil
those who
again.
Are interested, I am fully planning on watching Daredevil again. I will say
that's an incredible TV show.
That's gonna be a nice. I don't know necessarily. It maybe tail end of fall into winter sort of watch for me, and I want to be kind of ready to go around the time that Born Again drops. Anna's never watched season 3, which I think is as good as the rest of the show, if not top tier in its own right. So. We'll probably stuff Defenders in there as a Daredevil season 2.5, but I think that we have plans to skip.
Well, no, I mean, I think you could probably have a primer of Iron Fist. Prime yourself with all of it. Just,
Well, you could watch all of it. I mean, she's never watched Iron Fist, and maybe she's missing something in her life, Denny.
Cinnamon heat ice cream. What a wild ride that show was.
That's the problem. And she said like the reason that she fell off the wagon is she tried to watch the other shows. She's like, I can't fucking do it. So she never watched Jessica Jones season 2 or 3. She never watched Luke Cage all of season 1 and 2. She never watched any of Iron Fist. She just lost steam because it's like, well, some of this isn't that good, or it's boring, or it's good for 7 episodes and then they kill off Mahershala Ali and it gets really fucking stupid and bad. So.
Yeah, that's true. Yep. Yeah.
Daredevil does not have that problem. So
no.
We'll happily rewatch Daredevil. We'll happily rewatch it and fully have designs too, because I'm pumped for Born Again, and I think I would have said as much, probably episode 200-ish roughly. It's in my top 5 shows of all time, Daredevil. So
it's a pretty excellent show.
Pretty excellent. So looking forward to seeing a pseudo season 4 of it. Not quite exactly that, but close enough. And I'll take that. So, do you want to talk about what we're going to be seeing on our Disney Plus, on our TV screens, and literally today?
For real?
Literally today, right now. Actually, I was thinking it was 2 days away from when we're recording, but actually, it has premiered today, which is to say that by the time this episode is up, by the time people are listening, that'll probably be a few episodes in. 2-episode premiere of Agatha All Along dropped today, which I'll just say is September 18th. So obviously by the time you're listening to this, Patreon or otherwise, it's up there. So you can check it out for yourself. I think it's 9 episodes. So my hope is that by the time this episode goes out, the show has not finished airing. If I have accomplished that, I'm feeling good about things. It's supposed to run through October 30th.
Okay.
So it looks like a drop of 2, and then weekly until the 30th, they'll drop the final 2. So
that's cool.
That's a solid release schedule.
I think so.
Makes sense. It would be kind of weird to have your finale drop after Halloween, but right before, perfect. Chef's kiss for that. So anyway, I'm flagging it. It's now available if you do want to watch it. You don't have to, but maybe this trailer makes you want to watch it. I don't know. What do you think?
I kind of want to watch it.
Okay. Give it a go.
I kind of want to watch it. And then
are you ready for spooky season? We're halfway through September, man. Last time we recorded, it was summer, but it's kind of fall now in a way. I mean, weather-wise, it's still summer, but
it certainly feels that way. I really like Aubrey Plaza.
Mm-hmm. I think every time we've talked about Agatha all along, I think she's always been on the tip of your tongue, and for good reason. She's fantastic. She's great, and she's such a perfect fit.
Yeah, she is.
For the weirdness of
kind of zany and
sort of
kind
vibe.
of
Yeah. She's a perfect energy match for what a show like this.
I really like the
kind of.
You see the posters that they put out for the show? It's like totally True Detective.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It looks like it kind of seems to me like they're picking up on the vibes that the Wanda show had.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just kind of, keeping it in the same, giving it the same treatment,
They're furthering it. Yeah, no, I think for sure. I mean, it is the same creator as WandaVision, so it's no coincidence.
Okay.
Obviously,
I think that's a good direction to keep
Catherine Hahn picking up her character from that show as well. But yeah, I think in terms of tone and feel and kind of doing this thing of, I think it's less TV genres and I don't know exactly. Like it almost feels like, we see some like classic horror type things, with like an Exorcist type thing almost at some point. So it feels like it is not necessarily, decades of sitcoms or anything like that, but it's still kind of using cultural touchstones as kind of maybe, inspirations for episode 1, 2, 3, 4. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, I don't know exactly if it's going to be as linear, as it was with WandaVision until obviously the illusion kind of broke and it just turned into Marvel fly around, beat 'em up sort of thing. But I don't know.
We'll see.
I think it's a great direction for it. I think it's a show that this is a show that no one really asked for until WandaVision was so successful and until Catherine Hahn just fucking took ownership of this character who most people, even people generally well-versed in the comics probably didn't know anything about other than she does have a snap card. She's the one that plays your cards for you.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. I do remember that.
Now they just changed it, so she only plays your cards for you on even turns because a lot of people were just setting up Agatha decks as AFK so that they could just let themselves get the boosters to improve their to upgrade their cards and stuff like that. So they did that as a countermeasure so that now people have to actually play, otherwise they'll get auto retreated. So this is a Marvel Snap podcast. That's right, motherfuckers.
You didn't know it. I'm here for it. I'll be watching it during the month of October. We watch.
Yeah, I think I'm not going to jump into it after I finish recording tonight. I'll probably be too tired for that. But even if there was time, I probably wouldn't. I'm not quite we're not, we're at the point in the house where we don't really have our decor up yet. We've got furniture in place, but
but you got prison walls.
Once the fall decor, and everything kind of comes out, then it's like the vibes will be immaculate. It will be Agatha time, I think. So
yeah, we'll get there.
But if you want to get there right fucking now, you can. You can watch 2 episodes of Agatha all along as of recording. Maybe 3, maybe 4, maybe 5. Hopefully not 6, but maybe.
Right.
Some amount. Hopefully it's one hand or less in terms of the episode count that you can watch, regular listener, that you're listening right now. But hey, we'll see. All right. Let's move on. We have Star Wars to talk about.
Ooh.
New details for the return of Andor, the second season of Andor.
Oh boy. Okay.
Which I hope excites you. I hope that excites you. It's the second and final season of Andor.
Okay.
Because it's just a 1-2 deal, and then if
we have a definitive
season
ending.
3, you've got Rogue One. You're covered. So we received word. We received word that Director Krennic will be making an appearance in Andor season 2. Ben Mendelsohn will be back. Also, Alan Tudyk will be back as K2SO, which kind of makes sense. You want to figure out why Cassian Andor and K2 have such a good rapport going into Rogue One, which wasn't really explored in season 1. It is going to be another 12 episodes, just to make that clear. So it's fully going in. It's going to be following Cassian over a period of 3 years as he becomes a leader in the Resistance.
Probably another
in the rebellion.
Another multi-arc kind of deal, which would be pretty cool. It sounds like
I would speculate that it probably will follow that sort of track.
Arcs.
And that worked really, really well for the first season.
It was incredible. Andor was an absolutely
4-episode deal, time jump, 4-episode deal, time jump, and the last one's probably, a week before Rogue One or whatever, you know what I mean? So that's kind of how I envision it plays out. But I'll leave it to Tony Gilroy and people that cooked up season 1 because
they knew what the fuck they were cooking.
They cooked. Yeah. However many Michelin stars I can give out, as many as I don't know what the good number is. It 3? Is 3 the good number? Man. I mean, any number is a good number, I think, but I don't know what the max is. Whatever the max is, give them out. But in terms of Star Wars hitting the big screen, The Mandalorian and Grogu is coming out May 22, May 20. I don't know why I said it like that. May 22nd of 2026. Johnny V. He's directed The Lion King. We talked about it, but God damn it, he's done a lot with Mando, and he is directing The Mandalorian and Grogu. They actually showed off some footage from it to people, there again, which maybe made its way to the internet. I can neither confirm nor deny because I certainly wouldn't do anything like that. Never in a million years would I put myself in such a compromising position. But that footage, I can tell you just based on people's description of it, showed some interesting things like the Mando and Grogu facing some AT-ATs on a snowy planet. Maybe
that's
a Toph,
cool.
Who knows? It showed the appearance of one Zeb Aurelios as well. So we're getting more Mando, and is it just season 4 compressed? I don't know. Is it too big to tell in one season? I don't know. But the Mandalorian Grogu was coming. So are you excited for that?
Yeah, of course. What's not to be excited about with this? Hopefully it's the
More Mando season 1, 2, less season 3.
Right, yeah. But I'll be there for it, for sure. I think it has the capacity to be an awesome movie.
Definitely.
So we'll see what we get.
Yeah, I think in some ways, I don't know what the story is going to be other than obviously the continuing adventures of the Mandalorian and Grogu, but it's I don't know, it might be nice to have one really kind of extended sort of fucking big bombastic adventure for those two. I don't know. I think it could feel like a long TV episode, or it could feel like a really cool movie about characters that we love. I think it could fall in either camp or somewhere in between, obviously. But I don't know. We'll see what Johnny V has in store for us. Johnny V and Dave Filoni, obviously. Does this bake in Thrawn stuff? I don't know. There's things that could happen. There's big things that could happen. We don't know. We'll see what they do. But last but not least, we have a trailer for our final Star Wars television show, which is making its way to Disney Plus on December 3rd. I think we did talk about this from the first look that we got on the Acolyte episode, but now we have a trailer for Skeleton Crew, which, as we kind of talked about, is What If Goonies, but Star Wars. And this trailer is very, very much that.
It's very Goonies.
Very Goonies.
It's very Goonies to the extent of what planet are they? What planet are they starting at here? This is unlike every Star Wars planet I've ever seen. It's the most suburban.
Earth-like suburban environment that we've ever seen. But
yeah, it's like not just
they've got we got Visor Kid, we got a Max Rebo kid and stuff. To make it feel if you took the more outlandish things of what these characters' appearances were, it could just pass for future Earth. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I don't know.
I like little Max Rebo kid though. He's pretty fucking funny.
Yeah, I think we were trying to figure out exactly how little Max Rebo was going to communicate, and
he just fucking talks.
Yeah, just the answer is the most simple. It's just the trunk wiggles a little bit, but they just speak normal, basic, galactic basic. Okay, all right, fair enough. This is the least interesting answer, perhaps, but it is an answer. It's not the worst one I've ever heard, I guess. But what do you think? Are you interested in Skeleton Crew? Jude Law's here. He's a Force user. Maybe he's a Jedi. Who's to say?
He didn't answer the question though. He
didn't. That's what I'm saying. Maybe he's bad. Maybe he's bad news. I don't know.
Even though it doesn't quite look like the Star Wars I'm accustomed to, I'm here for it.
I feel like also
I think it looks like good fun.
That suburban planet, I feel like, is going to be in the first 20 minutes of an episode and then never revisited. Like once those kids get off that fucking planet, they're never going back. It. Maybe the end of the season.
It actually kind of it kind of is. I think it might elevate the storytelling in a little bit of a way, like they're in paradise here, and then they get off their perfect little.
And they see the real galaxy out there, and like, oh, this place fucking sucks.
It's fucking wild, like it's the most dangerous place ever, So I don't know, very excited. I'm very excited about it. Looks
nice.
Different,
yeah, no, definitely different. Yeah.
But there's not a problem with telling something new and fresh. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I
don't know exactly how new and fresh this is, given that it has this clear inspiration. But in terms of new for Star Wars,
that's what I'm saying. For Star Wars, I mean the galaxy is a big place. For example, there's definitely a suburban planet somewhere. You know what I mean? Why would there not be?
Every other planet in Star Wars is like a single biome. It's Coruscant. This whole place is a fucking city. Everywhere you fucking look, it's a fucking city.
It's a desert. It's an ice planet. You know what I mean?
Right.
Everywhere.
Right.
So yeah, I think it's totally fun. I'm here for it.
Yeah. All right. Well, wouldn't you know it? That is all we have.
The trailer's been out for 1 month.
D23 front trailer was out a month. That's how long we had to sit on our D23 news because I was busy, but I'm not busy anymore. No, it's not true. I am very busy still, but I can find some time. I can find some time. So D23, lots of things there. We've been here over an hour now already, but
second comment on the YouTubes. I'm sorry. You're a Jedi. No, I'm BAFTA winning actor Jude Law.
I'm BAFTA winning actor Jude Law.
That's pretty good.
That would be unexpected and new for Star Wars as well. Fourth wall breaks.
Anyways,
we'll see if that's the direction they push in. We'll see, and we'll see. I don't know what else to say to that. I gotta leave it there and move on. You want to talk alien fucking Romulus?
Yeah, let's do it.
Also known as Alien Romulus, more simply. So Alien Romulus is, I think, in theaters now.
Yeah, right.
We saw it a while ago. I saw it in Dolby. I think the last week that it was playing in Dolby. Taking a break from moving, settling chaos to enjoy it while I could in the premium format. I think based on trends, it's probably video on demand sometime in October, which I think would make sense given the genre, and some Halloween synergy that would make sense to have it available and make big bucks for 20th Century Disney and stuff like that. But we'll see. No official word on that. I'm just speculating, so don't hold me to it. If you do want to watch it and can't wait, go see it. It's still playing somewhere. It's just a little rinky-dink auditorium. It's your own fault for waiting so long, okay? Don't blame me. Just because we're super behind doesn't mean you have to be super behind. All right? Okay? All right. Done yelling at our person that doesn't exist. Alien Romulus was written by Fede Alvarez and Rodo Sayagues, directed by Fede Alvarez, and it'll probably come up. So Fede Alvarez, of course, directed the Evil Dead 2013 reboot, cool, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. And then Don't Breathe, and I think in 2015, 16, something like that. Alien Romulus stars Kaylee Spaney, David Johnson, Archie Renault, Isabella Merced, Spike Fern, and Eileen Wu, while scavenging the deep ends of a derelict space station, maybe the Romulus space station, a group of young space colonists come face to face with the most terrifying life form in the universe. Now, I know we don't do spoilers early on, but it's an alien, and I'll tell you that right now. It's a xenomorph. That's what I'm going to tell you. All right, it's endocidal, and I think I can get away with saying that at this juncture. But why don't we do actual true non-spoilers right now? I know you got to dig deep in the memory banks. If you were a synth, you might be able to recall these things a little bit better. But you got to do your best. So, how'd you feel about Alien Romulus?
So, I'll start off by saying the same thing that I've told everybody that's asked me what I thought about it, because I was hype as hell going in.
You've been asked it a lot.
I've been asked, hey, what'd you think about that movie? I knew you were excited about it.
I'm probably the last person that will ask you. It's the opposite sequence of things. It's like usually I ask you first, and you're like, well, let me tell you, I just recorded a thing, and I don't even have to say it. You could just go listen to this thing. No, we're super late to the party. So what have you told those fine folks? What are you about to tell me?
I think that this is for my money. Okay, this is kind of high praise just coming from the genre, I guess, but at the same time, I feel a way about it. I think this is 75% of an absolutely perfect banger of a movie.
Okay. And
there were a couple of missteps, but I think they were pretty decent sized missteps at a time when you should not have been misstepping. You know what I mean? And I don't think
points in the movie, maybe.
Yeah. There were things that it did that I absolutely thoroughly enjoyed. So we'll start at the top.
Yes.
It's got Fetty could totally direct a Blade Runner movie. This felt very Blade Runner. It felt very the fuck's his name? The fuck's the old man's name? The old man.
Ridley Scott?
Yeah. It felt like an 80s Ridley Scott movie in a lot of ways. Okay. And in all the right ways, right? Which the dystopian nature
makes sense given the director of that first Alien movie.
Yeah. It took it took the dystopian nature of the planet, and it felt that the planet that it starts out on, and that totally felt like straight out of Blade Runner. They did this thing with like the light shining through the blinds, and I thought that was that felt 110% Blade Runner, which was really cool. So it's like he says, okay, well, Ridley Scott really nailed the dystopian nature of this futuristic place on a planet, right? And I'm going to take the planet vibes and make it Blade Runner because it's grounded on a planet. And then I'm going to take all the space shit and make it Alien, which I thought was fucking cool. Like, it was just a perfect marriage between the two. And it was a very seamless transition between the two, too. You know, whenever you go to a derelict spaceship and whatnot, now you're locked into alien stuff. Really appreciated that. I thought the cinematography in this movie was on point. I thought it was fucking cool.
Yeah. Okay.
Even when things get big in this movie, in ways that, like, I mean, Alien had some big stuff. Aliens definitely had big things, right? But there's some actiony bits and whatnot. So even like the more subtle horror-y nail biter sequences were shot, you know, tactfully and suspensefully, and like it had had a really good appreciation for quiet moments, and how to shoot those quiet moments and how to make it suspenseful. But at the same time, it didn't lose a whole lot of that suspensefulness when things got really crazy and really big. So I thought that was really cool. I really enjoyed the cinematography and the editing. I thought it was edited well. And I thought that I really liked the coloring. I know it's a weird thing to compliment, but like the palette of the movie and the tone and everything was really cool. Really liked it. I thought the acting was really good. I really enjoyed the acting.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of, I think, mostly actors that we have not much familiarity with. I think with obviously the obvious exception of Kaylee Spaney, who we've seen most recently, I think, in Civil War, but I feel like some other stuff prior to that. Devs, Mayor of Easttown, Bad Times, Pacific Rim Uprising, lest we forget. She was a bit younger. But yeah, no, I think... I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I know Isabella Merced, I think, is going on and doing pretty big. I mean, she was Dora, she was Dora and Dora in the Lost City of Gold. But I think she's going to be in Superman and feel like in The Last of Us. She's going to be in season 2 of The Last of Us. So like she's going to go on and do big things. But I didn't recognize any of the other people in this. So none of the men. I didn't, or I guess all the other characters. I guess not just men exclusively. I didn't recognize. I don't know if you are in the same boat.
Yeah, definitely. I didn't recognize anybody. But they all did a fantastic job. I really enjoyed the direction of the story and the thrust of the story, right? Up until a certain point.
Spoilers. We'll get there. I have a feeling. Well, I guess we've sort of talked about this off air, so it's not. It'd be somewhat disingenuous for me to I already kind of know what you're talking about. It'd be disingenuous to say that it didn't, but yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah. So, but the direction that the story was heading was solid. Right. The missteps that I'm talking about is going to be like the last.
Well, like I said, it's the timing. It kind of goes off the rails at a certain point in the movie. I don't know if it really ever goes back on rails. If that, it's kind of, it hits a certain point and then it keeps going. Right. I think that's maybe the best way to put it.
Yeah. Right. And it's not, you can't say it's the last third of the movie because it's not. It's like the last...
last sixth, maybe?
Yeah, something
Seventh,
like that. Last 15 minutes, 20 minutes, maybe at the absolute most. You know what I mean? So that, and when it does do that last 20 minutes, I was not there at all for it. Like, I just like, what the fuck have you done? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Up until the last 20 minutes, all in 110%. But the last 20 minutes, man, fuck. Actually, that's not entirely true. I thought that the synths, I thought the main synth, I thought he was awesome. I like the way the story trappings of working with the synth, I thought was treated really cool. And I don't know, like, I guess the like what it is to be a speciesist in that kind of, like, I guess that's what you would call it. What would you call it? Being racist against a synth.
Yeah, right. It's I don't know if there's a better word.
I don't know,
just
being
racist
hateful
against.
Hateful again, not liking machines, I guess. But at the same time, well, it's an artificial being. You know what I mean? Like, he's got like feelings and shit. You know what I mean? So I don't know. That's a question for Blade Runner, I guess. But I like the way that they told that story. I thought that was really a really cool direction. The tech was cool. I thought all the tech was cool. All the sci-fi shit was really well done, I thought. The one thing that I did not like, there's a character that was present in the original Alien.
Yes. I don't know if this is quite full spoiler territory, but it's I'll
just say there's some de-aging.
Anyone that's seen this movie knows exactly who you're talking about. Anyone that hasn't seen this movie, I don't think it. I'm going to say, and maybe I think it's better. I knew about this character going in. I think had I not known about this character going in, which maybe was your experience,
I did not.
It'd be really, really way more jarring. I think it almost helps to brace yourself for it, and you're like, oh, that's not. Oh no, that is pretty bad. Oh, okay. We can talk about the character's role plot wise more specifically in spoilers.
Yeah,
but I think it actually is fair enough to just flag it right now, being like, there's some funky shit going on here that maybe doesn't totally work.
They put Rook in it, and he doesn't look particularly good. And
Rook, which is based off of the likeness of the late Ian Holm, who played a character in the original Alien.
Yeah, it's fucked.
Just to make that point clear. So again, not spoiling the actual particular role of that character, but it is a Tarkin-esque, situation, Leia-esque situation, thinking back to Rogue One, of reviving a dead actor. I guess I don't know. I guess in the case of Leia, it was more about capturing a younger version of Carrie Fisher at that point, whereas with Tarkin, it was fully just we are resurrecting Peter Cushing to have a role in this movie,
and they resurrected that guy too.
But I think it's almost a step beyond that, because I do feel like it's the character that feels like, oh, they're in it for 1 minute, fine, okay, but then they're around for the character has a presence and throughout a good chunk of this movie.
Yes.
to leave it at that. And so it kind of just feels like, oh no, it wasn't just like, let's just do it for like a quick little cameo tongue-in-cheek sort of thing. It's like, no, we're just resurrecting a dead guy to be a character in this.
It's we know that in the first Alien, the character of Rook is like he's not in a good way, right?
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
Like you don't have to, like, you could have the voice, right? You could have the voice of that of the actor, right? In some capacity, you could digitalize it a little bit, And
there's a way to
there's a way to pull it off.
Exactly what you're trying to do here, in a way that doesn't come across as fucked.
Yeah, because it was
not accomplished here.
This was
not accomplished
110% fucked. I did not.
I think
like
in some ways, I think this was, I guess, roughly equivalent to Tarkin, maybe in some ways, but again, it felt like there was more. So it was worse by the mere fact of it being more involvement and
the execution
on this character.
The execution
of
was
it
just
not
fucking
being
terrible,
up to snuff either. Yeah, for sure. I have more thoughts on the inclusion of this character and the technology and everything in the way that they portrayed this, but
we'll talk about it in spoilers.
Save that for spoilers, but we'll 100% circle back to this because I have thoughts.
So with that, and with the last 20 minutes of this movie, those are,
that's your 25%. You're like, what the fuck is this?
That's the 25%, and if if those two things weren't present in this movie, and we'll talk about the last 20 minutes, and why it just detracted the entire experience for me. I've kind of explained the synth part of it, but I think really and truly though, if you were to omit those two things and just continue on course with the last 20 minutes of the movie and change the synth part, I think
top tier Alien movie.
Oh, I think it's another Evil Dead thing. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I think you have you have 110%. Like, it's now my favorite Alien movie. You know what I mean?
Right. Like you've somehow done the impossible of surpassing, the originals, which is so hard to do. If you're doing
and it's totally
if it's a reboot or it's a sequel, it's such a high bar to clear. Like those Evil Dead movies, you got 3 fucking Sam Raimi classics to come in and make one that kind of reinvents things, has the sort of things that you would kind of expect out of the Evil Dead franchise. And anyone that wants to hear our fuller thoughts on all of those movies, we did a bonus episode on it way back in the day, so it's up in the feed somewhere. But that fucking that Fede Alvarez directed Evil Dead, it's fucking dark, grungy, visceral, bloody, disgusting, but it is still fundamentally Evil Dead. And we enjoyed Evil Dead Rise, but that Fede Alvarez Evil Dead it's just something special,
For sure.
And I agree. I have probably other, different thoughts on this movie and Alien Romulus that we'll get to, but I kind of agree that I don't know if it would surpass you know, the
No, but
heights
it's
of an
doing
alien
something.
or an aliens.
It's on a different stage.
But here, it's very, very clearly not even close to those, because it has enough issues that hold it back from even being able to try to be in the same stratosphere as those. You know,
At the same time, it's not an
is
Alien
it better
3,
than some
4?
other Alien movies?
Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. You know, even with those issues, it is still probably actually one of the better Alien movies.
It's one of its top 3.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, you got Alien, Aliens, and this. You know what I mean?
We could have. I don't know. This is not quite recommendation, but you know, we could have started here as well. I mean, what's your? We didn't. You know, we could have done an Alien bonus episode if we had a lot of free time and you know, no houses to move into and no babies to take care of.
Yeah,
and all
right.
That. No jobs to work. That's probably the biggest thing. But what's your
Patreon?
You know, what's your general take on the Alien franchise? You know, Alien and Aliens, I think, are held up as the gold standard of the franchise. Would you agree with that? Have you watched any of them recently?
Aliens or Alien?
Well, both. I think both are held up. But I think you know, Alien is one of the best horror films of all time. I think
that's right. Yeah.
In my opinion, and I think in a lot of people's opinion that have seen that movie would probably feel the same way. It's a great fucking horror movie. You've got one alien. It's a mean motherfucker. It's impossible to kill. You know, you've got a great Sigourney performance in it, and it's just a classic horror film. You know, in space, no one can hear you scream. Fucking iconic.
It's terrifying.
Aliens, completely fucking different movie. Completely shakes things up. You know, you've got a million of these fuckers running around. They're like fucking insects now. You've got the colonial marines. Game over, man. Game over. You know, you got a classic Bill Paxton performance. Sigourney's back. She's still incredible. You got
kicking ass.
These iconic characters and Hicks and Newt. And it's just fucking action-packed. And the setting is grungy. And, you know, it's just expanding the lore. And it's just such a tough, totally different, but still incredible, you know, movie from the original Alien. Like it's an entirely different genre of fucking movie from the original. Like those two alone are like, oh my God, they're incredible movies.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So the question I asked was, those two are, I think, traditionally held up as the best movies in the franchise. I think it's really personal taste that's gonna put one at number
one or the other, right?
Right, exactly.
And
like,
it's
interchangeable. I think,
because they're different genres of movies.
Argument,
you know what I mean?
Way
so
and be fine. Yeah.
You can't. I don't know. It's hard.
It
It's hard.
on the day.
It depends on the day.
Depend on your mood. You know, like if you want something that's a little more action packed, Aliens is the way to go. If you want a fucking horror movie at its core, that original Alien is tough to top. Maybe The Exorcist does it. You know what I mean? But other than that, it's pretty much Alien hanging out.
For sci-fi films, though,
for sci-fi horror, it's definitely number one.
They in like sci-fi action. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And even when Aliens does like start to get more horror, like it's fucking terrifying.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, you get the eggs, you get the alien underwater with Newt, you know, and when she falls into the sewer thing and he like stands up. I don't know
if it's necessarily as horror, somewhat actiony, but the Queen, you know, the
Queen's fucking terrifying.
That's terrifying.
She's like,
you know,
fucking rip her ass off, you know, whenever she. Oh.
You know,
it's like, oh my God.
It gets actiony at a certain point when you get the power loader suit involved, but you know, but
there for a little bit, it's crazy. She has to go into the
little
fucking
lore bits are just horrifying.
Yeah. Oh, it's nuts. Anyways, iconic movies. Some of my favorite movies. They're awesome. They're very awesome. And for me to say,
there are some other movies in the franchise, that don't live up to those standards.
You get the one where they're in the prison. I think that's the third one.
That's Alien 3, also known as Alien Cubed. It's a little 3.
That's where you start to get different breeds of xenomorphs.
Right, you've got depending on the version you watch, it's either a dog or it's a bison or something like that. I think it depends on the version where they change the creature that gets implanted with the embryo. But there's that one. There's Resurrection, which is like 200 years in the future, and it's because spoilers, Ripley dies at the end of Alien 3, but then there's a clone version of her in Resurrection, and it's got Ron Perlman and Winona Ryder, I think. You know, I don't know if you've seen that one. Did you watch any Alien movies in preparation?
Yeah, I watched 1 and 2.
Alien Romulus?
The only ones that really matter, in my opinion.
You stopped. You're like, all right, I'm good. Well, and it makes sense too because this movie is a midquel. It's in terms of timeline, smack dab between the events of Alien and Aliens. And certainly that, it has connective tissue that I think, is interesting to kind of to follow.
Sure.
I think if you've had those in your recent memory banks now, and then there's lest we forget, there's a Prometheus, there's an Alien Covenant, which is really more technically a sequel to Prometheus than it is to the other Alien movies. But, and those two are classics in their own right. Prometheus is the classic, amazing trailer kind of shit movie.
Yeah, it was a pretty
scenario.
Cool
Expanding on the lore of the universe, and then Alien Covenant has a very memorable scene in it. You know the one? You know what I'm talking about?
Let me finger it for you. I haven't seen that.
I mean, check it out if you want. Check it out. Or don't. But, Alien, it's a bit up and down. None of them are like...
Prometheus was the introduction of the black goo.
Prometheus was the introduction of the black goo. It's the proper true introduction of the engineers and the creation of the xenomorphs and like weird shit like that. That's Prometheus. And then that's kind of furthered a little bit in Alien Covenant because that brings back Michael Fassbender as I think a different synth from the first one. But I think
it's kind of weird.
It all ties together at a certain point. Let's put it that way. That's kind of shit. And it's got a weird fingering sequence, and not in a sexy way. Let's put it that way. Unless he like double Michael Fassbender's, in which case could be pretty sexy. I don't know. Whatever floats your boat. Anyway, I think the point I'm trying to make is there are two fantastic top tier Alien movies.
There's two
four Alien movies that absolutely, period. Regardless of how you feel about them, do not qualify in that same tier. I think you can have reasonable, differences, arguments about how you'd place Alien Cubed versus Resurrection versus Prometheus versus Covenant. But yeah, Romulus, you slotted in at number 3.
Romulus, I slotted in at 93. Like it's worthy of.
What's in all, number 3.
Yeah. Definitely better than Prometheus. Never saw Covenant. There's elements of those movies present in this movie, but the quality of this film far surpasses that of those those two prequel movies. So, anyways, it was really something special. It was on its way to be. It was on its way up there, but then it didn't happen.
Right. That sometimes that's like almost more frustrating.
It is. It was
like if it was just all shit, then it's like, well, you just scrap it.
Just write it off. You tried. You failed. It's okay.
Yeah, you walk away. It's you don't think about it again.
With this, you were so fucking close. It was almost like an Obi-Wan situation. You were the chosen one. You were, right. And it, it fucking happened.
You were supposed to bring balance to the Force. Something like that. I don't know.
Not something from it. I can't remember the whole quote. Anyways, so it left me pretty. I'm not going to say that I was. I was pretty upset. Still pretty upset by it, but the same time. And it's
also it's the timing of it doesn't leave you on the high note. It leaves you on the low note. And I think that's what is really hard to overcome. Is you can get over a slow start, And this movie is like
stick the landing.
Has like a relatively slow start in terms of like getting to the alien shit or whatever, but it's like this cool world building stuff, with the colony
awesome.
And like all that, and getting a little bit with these characters who we don't know anything about walking in this movie, and so that is really cool. And so the payoff to all of it is pretty good overall, until it kind of just seems to just keep going, and almost sort of classic horror movie sort of thing where it's like, you thought we were done, we're not done, man, and you're not ready for what's to come. And you're like, you know what? You're absolutely right. I was not ready for what was to come. Not happy about it, but I was not ready.
Should have got up and gone to the bathroom. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a movie where you could chop off the last 10 minutes and maybe feel better about it. Like literally. And I don't think it's not like you're missing anything. Like there's a completeness to this movie if you cut it off at literally a certain point. So that the fact that it's there, your brain can't erase that memory. You can't undo that. And clearly the intent was to have that be part of the story and be in there. So it's like, okay. All right. Well, it's a choice. It's a choice. Storytelling choices. But I'll just say, I'll say before I say anything else, we didn't do a box office breakdown because I forgot to put the little line in the script. I'm out of practice. We're out of practice.
How'd it do?
I forgot. It did pretty well. Obviously, it's a hard R. It's pretty grimy.
Yeah,
Fede Alvarez likes his body horror and stuff like that. So there's definitely some sequences in this that are not for the squeamish. But even despite its hard R rating, it made $42 million in its opening weekend, which was good for number one. Second highest for the Alien franchise. I think probably following, I would guess Prometheus was probably the record holder. I don't know that for a fact. Highest opening for Fede Alvarez as a director, for Kaylee Spaney as an actor. It's around $331 million worldwide, which working off of a budget of $80 million, I think registers as a pretty big success. I think it's safe to say probably more Alien movies will be made in the future. Which I think is cool. I don't know what the direction is down the line, but I definitely think that there's always room to make more Alien movies. Just telling the right story, as it is true of all the things that we talked about with the D23. It's about telling the right story. You can always make a good sequel as long as you're not just rehashing the same sorts of things and telling a good story. And this does a lot of that, but then a little bit of the other category too. But spoilers, we'll get there. In terms of how I felt about the movie, I really think it sounds to me like I think we pretty much felt the same way overall. I think there were the weird things that happened where I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And
what about the score? We didn't talk about the score.
Score was very good, very effective. Benjamin Wallfish was I clocked it and I was like, who the fuck did the score for this? You want to talk about Blade Runner vibes? He did the one half of the score for 2049, I think, with Hans Zimmer, old Hans. So I think that's probably contributing to the Blade Runner feel. Of course, the actual visual design is very, very Ridley inspired from the original Alien and from Blade Runner 2, but maybe it's all the same universe. Who's to say? I don't know. There's probably some way where that doesn't work, but I'm not going to think about it too hard. I thought it was a very interesting story. I thought the setting, the whole setup of it was all very good. It has the kind of classic horror movie trappings where things, shit's going to hit the fan and things are going to go sideways, and some of the fates of some of these characters was spoiled in the trailers, in terms of, I remember that one scene where that person has a face or has a chest burster coming out. So I was like, well, it's just, the things are going to go badly for most, if not all of these people, on the space station. It is not a movie where you're looking at this and thinking, oh, I hope everyone gets out of here alive. Cause that's a very naive sort of stance to take going into a horror movie. But I think that, talking about vibes, look, visuals, sound, acting, like top notch, like really fucking great. On the whole, really fucking great. There's just those bits. There's decisions. There's the creative decision of let's bring this character back. That why do we do that? Yeah. There's the keeping the story going a little too long. Why do we do that? I don't know. Something we'll get into more in spoilers is there's parts of this movie where it feels like it's trying to do a greatest hits package of the franchise, and I think that it sells the movie itself, like it sells its own story short of just, I don't know, you could make something that is just another story in this universe that is using some of the same touchstones. Like, if you're making an Alien movie and there's a fucking alien in it, it's not a rehash, you know what I mean, to just do that. You don't have to bring in elements to make it feel like, look, no, this is this thing from the franchise. Like we totally get this, like we love this franchise. Look how much we love it. We're going to do the same thing as this movie. We're going to do it from this movie. And it's like, I don't know. And we're going to bring this line back from this movie. People are going to love it. I'm like, you didn't need to do that. Like it's kind of silly at a certain point, and it just didn't seem like it trusted. I don't know if it didn't trust itself or if it didn't trust an audience to just grapple with it head on. And so it just seemed like it tried to.
Was it produced by Ridley?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it was produced by Ridley. You know, he wouldn't let this franchise go. He's not going to let this franchise go until he's 6 feet under, you know? So
maybe that's why, you know,
maybe it is, or maybe it's just, you know, I don't know. There's definitely things, and that's true of Prometheus. It's true of Covenant, where it's just like, oh man, you're knocking on the door of something really special here. Less true of Covenant, I'll say. But it's like, there's some cool ideas in here. And so the execution of some of those ideas is incredible. The execution of some of those ideas, which maybe were shit in terms of their inception and conception, is bad, or the execution is bad. And I don't know. I just didn't think that. I didn't think, as it sounds like you did, the movie didn't need all that shit. In some ways, like,
I didn't want to.
At the end of the day, if you excise some of those weird bits, is it doing anything super duper novel and different for the franchise? Probably not, but I don't think that adding those things in, if anything, it's just taking
elevate it. They didn't.
It's not elevating it. It's just taking it's taking bad things from other points in the franchise, or things that were good at other parts in the franchise, and making them bad. And so it doesn't really. It's not new or novel anyway. It's just the end result is bad.
It just detracts from the experience. Yeah.
I'll leave it there because I'm being vague. We got to get into spoilers. I will say special shout out to David Johnson, who plays Andy, the synth.
Awesome.
He's incredible. I think probably my standout performer in this movie.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Incredible range. Obviously, the character goes through developments throughout this movie, and that required that acting performance to just switch on a dime.
I love people playing fucking robots. I think
that's such a unique acting skill to have, right? And to do it so convincingly. Cool. Respect for that.
It is cool.
Fucking cool, man. I mean, this movie gets by in a lot of ways on, you know what? It's pretty fucking cool. It's a pretty fucking cool movie.
Right?
You know
simple.
I mean? It's a pretty
simple, man. Cool, simple pleasures. All right.
If say there's a bunch of fucking little face huggers running around and chasing after people, and there's a whole, set piece about that. That's pretty fucking cool. If there's an alien, and they're putting their little vagina dentata teeth out at you, and and they got acid blood and shit. It's fucking cool. I mean, it's disgusting.
It's
HR
terrifying.
Fucking horrifying. Weird sexual designs. Like, what's going on in that what was going on in that man's brain? Who fucking knows? But it's some weird shit, that's for sure. But absolutely fucking horrifying to witness. The space shit. Like fucking the rings of Saturn or wherever the hell they are. I don't know if it's literally
it's
Saturn,
cool.
But,
it's pretty fucking cool.
It's like they're just going for some of this shit, and the way that it ties into some of the lore of the other movies, like it is very cool. I had a lot of fun with this movie. It's a pretty enjoyable horror movie. I'd say it's probably at least number 4 in terms of my personal franchise rankings. I look more fondly on Alien Cube than I think most do. It's nowhere close to Alien or Aliens, I will say.
No.
I think this one probably overall is probably a better movie than Alien 3. Like Alien 3 is a weird fucked up production type of movie. But I think
I haven't seen it in a very long time.
To its credit, was doing something weird and different with the franchise in not completely successful ways, but in a way that this movie almost isn't even trying to be. Anything that far apart. But I think this has the advantage of Prometheus and Alien Covenant spent so much screen time just doing weird shit that made no fucking sense that it was kind of nice to have a simplicity of, look, these fucking, these guys are in a shitty situation. They're going to go up to a space station because there's a promise of a better future, and shit's going to go bad. Boom. That's all you need. It's a classic horror movie setup. It's a fucking alien. The designs are going to be awful and horrific, and bad things are going to happen, and that's what you're there to see. And so I think that from that standpoint, this movie is really, really successful. But I think that, that's all it needed to be. I think where it tried to either diversify itself or tie itself into too much, that's where it faltered. So anyway, recommendation wise, we've got this split up into go see this in theaters, wait to watch it at home, or wait till someone pays you to watch this movie. I think we can probably safely eliminate that category. So I think the real question for you, for me, is there enough good in this movie that you think people should see this in theaters? or do you think that it's worth waiting for streaming or 4K release, or what do you? I don't know. What do you think? Where do you stand?
I thought it was a pretty awesome theater experience. I mean, I saw it in Dolby. Did I see it in Dolby or see it in IMAX?
Saw it in something where
I saw it in
a little
Dolby.
more intense.
Yeah, and I was happy I did. I thought it was a really cool experience. It's a big movie, right? Big sci-fi stuff, big planets, spaceships, loud noises.
I just realized I said I saw it in Dolby. I saw it in IMAX. It was a Limax, but it was out of Dolby at that point. It was a Limax, and it had the expanded ratio, which was really cool.
Okay.
So, anyway, That's what happens when you record it, 3-4 weeks after you've seen the damn thing. But anyway, yes, sorry, carry on. Yeah,
so I was happy I did it, and I thought it was a cool experience. So I'm going to say theater experience.
I agree. I do agree. I have my misgivings. You have your misgivings. But as a thrill ride sort of experience with this movie, it's a lot of fun. I think watching it at home, you always open yourself up to, let me check. Someone texted me. Let me see what's going on. And this is a good movie. Totally dark. Hopefully no assholes in your theater. Lock in. Fucking just take it in. It's not long. It's under 2 hours, right? So, at the end of the day, your experience is going to be get in, have a lot that you're taking in, more than maybe you're expecting in some ways. But you come out thinking, all right, I'm glad I saw that in a theater, if nothing else. Maybe I didn't like everything, or maybe I did. I don't know. But I'm glad I experienced it that way. That's how I felt about it. So I know this may fall on deaf ears in some sense, because you may struggle to find, if you haven't seen this movie yet, of course, and you're like, oh shit, maybe I do need to see this in the theater. I don't know. You might be looking at second run cinemas at this point, potentially, because we're so fucking late. But if you can see this in any theater, I say Rinky Dink Auditorium earlier. Look, maybe other than Andrew, I don't even know if I would say myself in this category. Most Rinky Dink auditoriums are better than your home. Distraction-free environments. Usually the screen is usually
the distraction-free environment alone makes
sound
it better than
sound may not be better. In Andrew's case, he's probably not having a baby, at his Alien Romulus screening, or at least we fucking hope not.
That'd be pretty fucking cool.
Certainly not his kid.
Not mine.
I can't speak for the other people that go to a theater and bring their kids. They're young enough; they won't know what's going on. But they hear it; they can process that shit. I don't know if that's actually true, but anyway. Yeah, so I agree. Go see this in a theater, and come back and let us know what you thought. Maybe you'll agree with our spoiler thoughts. So if you haven't seen it yet, pause, come back. All right, we're gonna do spoilers now. You ready? You ready for spoilers?
I am ready for some spoilers. Yes,
full spoilers for Alien Romulus. So I think obviously we've hit two big points that I think we obviously need to circle back around to. So do you want to talk Rook, or do you want to talk what do they call it? They gave it a name. The Offspring. The Offspring. I think is I think what we've been very, very much dancing around of the fourth act of this movie, where things really go off the rails. So where do you want to go back to Rook? Do you want to go to the Offspring?
Yeah. So Rook's a quick one, right? They recover Rook, this spacecraft right in the beginning of the movie, right? They go out there and they recover, I guess, like a rock or something.
Right. They recover this rock, which I don't know if it's that specific rock, but the fossilized version of the alien from the first Alien movie, which Ripley ejected out into space, is part of that, right? Wasn't that kind of what happened? Something like that?
That's what happened in the first one.
So they recover it, and then this is like a research station and clearly shit goes sideways at a certain point.
So how it fossilized in space, I don't know.
Yeah, I think I read somewhere that it was almost like it just shows the adaptability of the creature, and how fucked it is. It's like that was like the way that it cocooned itself in a way so that it wouldn't die, but I don't know, maybe it did die. I can't remember.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I don't
Anyways, that's cool. Whatever. Exactly. They recover that, and they recover Rook. Now, she blew up the ship in the first one.
So here's the thing, and I didn't want to correct you earlier because I didn't want to save it for spoilers. Rook is not Ash. Rook is a different character. And I didn't realize that when I was watching this movie. I only realized that upon looking into things after the movie, looking into the discourse.
Rook is not the same character?
Rook is a different character, which, makes sense in the sense that, well, I think Ash got blown to high hell.
Ship,
and I hadn't watched the first Alien recently, so I couldn't remember exactly what happened to Ash.
I was thinking he was Ash. He's the same actor as Ash.
Well, that's the thing. That's kind of where I'm just like, well, then why the fuck does he look like Ian Holm? It's like, all right, it's like Terminators where like certain models are going to look like Arnold. Some are going to look like, Robert Patrick or whatever. But it's like,
the android that they have is totally...
It's a completely different character who is also a synth,
model.
Probably the same model, which is why he looks like Ash. And maybe the synths have, or the Weyland-Yutani Corporation, they all have the same configuration where they're all kind of malevolent in some fucking way, or at least this model is. So I don't know. And it's like, okay, but why did you have to make him look like the guy from the first movie?
The same dude.
Especially given the greater context of the fact that, number one, if Ian Holm was not dead at the time they made this movie, well, he would have been fucking 80, 90 years old. So, so no matter what, even if he's alive, you're de-aging him or still recreating it, probably with basically the same technology that they're using with this weird deepfake thing that they did.
Yeah.
But I think that, the little cherry on top is, well, no, too bad he actually is fucking dead. I mean, they got permission from his wife, is what it sounds. And it's not like they just did it, like weirdly and
well, they did it poorly. It looked really fucking bad.
But yeah, I think my two issues are well, maybe three. Number one, you didn't have to. You chose that as a story point.
Yeah,
that this very character,
true. Especially if they're different. This whole time,
Ash.
I thought they were the same character.
I thought they were the same character too, because I was like, why the fuck would they? I mean, I get it. It's a synth, it's the same model, but again, there are enough real life reasons to like pull back from that decision.
Just make it one iteration, make it the next version, right? He can still be.
Well, I mean, we got a Michael Fassbender synth. We've got Bishop, Lance Henriksen.
You got Bishop. You got the new one.
You got the new one in this movie. Yeah, he's an older model or whatever. He's a little, he's a little, I guess, slower, I guess, than the other ones. But like, it could look like anyone. It could look like literally anyone.
He literally put Rook's brain in his brain.
Yeah, so it's like, I just think that decision alone is like, you didn't have to do that. You did that as like you thought it'd be a fun reference kind of continuation, and like fans of the first movie be like, oh, it looks like the guy. Or they get confused like you and I did watching the movie and think it is the guy, and then come to realize, oh, it's not the guy. What?
Damn.
So there's that.
I thought it was the same guy.
And then the number two thing is, all right, you've made this creative decision, which you've made it. I think it's a dumb decision, but you've made it. Why is it realized in this way? No, just talking about Rook still. It's like, why does it look so bad? Why does it look so bad?
You could have just. I thought it was the same guy. So the thing I would have done is make him look all deteriorated and shit and fucked up looking, and then.
Well, there's like part of the character is like on a computer screen or like a monitor. And it's like, it's okay for that, where it's just kind of static. He's just talking out of the corner of his mouth or some shit. But there's like full on things, and it's like the same thing with like when Tarkin is first revealed in Rogue One, you see the reflection, and on like the Star Destroyer, and like, oh, that looks fine, and you flip the camera around, like, oh no, we
didn't need to do that. Keep it as a reflection, right?
Yeah, so it's like hide the fact that like, all right, if you're so committed to reviving this dead man to play a character that is not the same character but looks like the character, I don't know, and what the end result is, presumably, or maybe you didn't, and they just, it was a total loss. They had to stick with what they had at the end of the day. But it's like, I don't know, try to achieve it. You do your tests and realize, oh, this isn't working. This looks like fucking shit. And make him a puppet, so he's kind of intentionally janky looking, like a synth could be.
And you could even use his voice,
or just fucking hide it, or just decide this isn't working. Where this is a different character now. We played by a different actor.
Done. Easy.
Easiest solution, most logical solution, but no, we ended up here. You have arrived at the worst version of these events. And yeah, it was just that they kept showing it. It's like, stop.
They fucking kept going.
No, stop cutting back. You want to give me one because you're like, look at this technology, deepfakes, man, they're really good. And I'm like, I've seen better deepfakes on YouTube, my dude. I've literally seen better deepfakes of fucking Tom Cruise doing, weird shit than this movie accomplished with it. And it's just like, if it looks that bad, just don't do it or hide it best you can. I don't know. I'm
the same could be said about the black goo. Right?
Well,
they introduced the black goo.
They introduced the black goo, and to me it's a lot of creative storytelling decisions which were made not because they were logical for the story being told, but because it was referencing a thing that happened in another Alien movie. So it's like Prometheus black goo, Alien Covenant black goo. We got to get the black goo in here, and someone's gonna have to put that black goo in their body, and I don't know.
So I said,
I'm thinking
to myself, they introduced the black goo, and I'm thinking to myself, God, please just.
Yeah, as soon as the black goo comes,
let's just reference the black goo.
No, yeah, lip service. Oh, the Prometheus thing. Oh, yeah, okay, all right.
Okay, but
all right, fine. Let's move on.
We keep going. We keep going.
But it's no. The black goo has to be integrated into the plot. It's like no.
And I was telling Ben this at work because he happens to be a fan of the black goo. The alien is enough.
Totally. And if the alien is not enough, add a few more aliens that look like an alien. All right? That's what aliens realize is one was cool. What if we threw 3,000 at you?
Yeah,
that would be pretty cool too.
And this did that as well. There was a lot of aliens.
It's a great effect. It had the fucking acid rain shit. I like this movie had some awesome fucking shit in it with just aliens. Yeah,
and that was enough. That was a good movie.
You had facehuggers. Like I said, the facehuggers running around. That was cool.
Oh, the facehuggers sitting around in that one dark room.
Yeah.
And they're just like fucking like scanning. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh man, that's some crazy looking shit.
He had some incredible alien stuff, traditional, classic alien things that were awesome and like really, really well done.
And you know what makes the aliens? You know what pulls away from the whole thing? Oh, there's black goo.
Yeah.
It's like I don't need the black goo. The aliens is enough. You know what I mean? So it detracts. It pulls it away. It dilutes the experience.
It does dilute the experience, and it's like, okay, you want to pull on Alien and Aliens. Obviously, that makes a lot of sense to try to emulate what those two movies did. Maybe do an extra little spin on it here and there. Why are you aping from Prometheus and Alien Resurrection? Why are you doing that? In Alien Covenant, like why would you do that? Like, Prometheus like has some cool visual shit. The black goo, which is completely unexplained and makes no fucking goddamn sense and just does whatever the fuck the writer wants it to do. Nonsense. Garbage. Leave it in the garbage.
Like it was responsible for human life. At the same time, it's responsible for. That's what I remember. From Prometheus.
Don't ask me. It's whatever is convenient for the plot. Or to create some sort of creature to advance the plot for the protagonist.
Yeah. So in this particular instance, it made a 9-foot tall fucking human thing with a tail.
Right. Which is effectively what happens, as a refresher for you, since you probably haven't seen it in a long time. It's basically what happens at the end of Alien Resurrection. I think there's DNA from the Ripley clone that's like merged with xenomorph DNA, and it creates this weird, fucked up newborn hybrid thing, which is not super dissimilar to the weird fucking thing that is birth in Romulus. Just grotesque, weird hybrid thing that is just absolutely fucked to look at.
I thought because they had sex. I thought she had sex with something.
Yeah, they have like a weird sort of bond thing. I think she does eventually put, in classic Ripley fashion, she says, there's a window into the deep void of space. Goodbye, good sir. Or madam, whatever you are. This here, I think it just, again, it was like that and one more thing. But it was just the build-up, just being like, I'm taking the black goo. Why is the black goo here? Who cares? It's a research station. They got it. I'm going to put it in because I got to save myself because I'm dying while I'm pregnant. Can't have that happen. I got to save my kid. And I got to, and then because of reasons, the black goo turns your fetus into a viable, weird, fucked up offspring, alien, human hybrid thing, which then grows in the span of 3 seconds.
Yeah, no shit. That was another thing.
Full-size, 8-foot tall, fucking absolute batshit thing. I just, yeah, I mean, like the design of it, don't get me wrong, horrifying, absolutely fucked, in kind of the right ways. It's just plot-wise, it feels like unnecessary slop just thrown at the end of the movie without really any regard for logic or like just any sort of sense to any of this. It just I don't know. It felt like I don't know. Like I said, it felt like a weird theme
Didn't
park
feel
ride
good.
type thing.
I know that.
It's just like we like one last jump scare at you, like we got you. And I don't know. It's because the movie feels like it's over. And again, a lot of horror movies do this where there's, you feel like, if it's non-horror movies, like first time you watch Casino Royale, you think things are going to end in a nice, happy manner. And then there's another 20 minutes, where things go real bad real quick for James Bond. This is kind of that, which again is fairly traditional for horror, but I just felt like it just kept going and going. And it's just like the longer it went on, it's just like, oh no, you had it in the bag, and now you've decided to just keep adding on, and you're actively making this thing worse and worse the longer it goes. We clearly, I think, felt the same way about it, where it's just, you didn't need to do that. I don't know what inspired you, what compelled you to do that,
but you
did
were
not
wrong.
need to do that. It was a bad decision at the end of the day. It was a bad decision that, ultimately felt disconnected from the rest of the story and just kind of took away from, I think, the overall experience. And that's the note it leaves you on. That's the worst part of it is, all right, see you, fucker. Thanks for, $20 A-list or however much you're paying for this, so.
Yeah, it was a big bummer. Big bummer.
Big bum for sure. Didn't like that bit. No, sir. No, sirree. But, still overall some good things in there. We're doing the same thing here. This is the last note we're going to end on. We're like, God damn it, I'm pissed about this movie now. I hate this movie.
Yeah,
it's not good.
It's real upsetting. I mean, but the man, everything else except that fucking robot and that offspring, I think is what they call it.
We have to take matters in our own hand. We're going to chop this movie down to about an hour and a half. It's going to be pretty good. Minimal Rook, because you can't totally scrap the character. But
no, you got to keep him present, and
anytime there's a cut of just his face, just full on face, it's gonna, we're gonna do something with that. It's gonna be cut. It's just gonna
make him all fucked up, looking like
Yeah, I think literally with the footage from this movie, you could cut 15 minutes and it's better. You could literally
way
make
better.
the hour and a half.
It's infinitely better.
Not perfect, still probably not better than Alien or Aliens with the cut down version of this, but maybe further next to them instead of just a little, a bit below them.
Yeah, it's I really, really enjoyed everything else in this movie.
I pretty much agree.
It was very cool.
It's fucking gnarly when it needs to be gnarly. And I mean, I think Fede could have even pushed it further.
I think he could have pushed the envelope with the body horror stuff for sure.
I did think it actually was going to be worse than it ended up being, and I don't know if it's just. I feel like Evil Dead was worse.
It was way worse. Fuck yeah, it was way worse. I don't know,
the tongue splitting and the fucking the mirror or shards or whatever, the glass shards and stuff.
That was
like
awful. That was fucking way worse.
I don't know.
Fede's getting soft in his old age, I guess.
Yeah, it does seem to be. Yeah, I like the worst of this, which I will say was horrifying, was the C-section to get this fucking thing out of her. That was, I think, probably the worst bit of it.
That was pretty grotesque. Yeah,
that was pretty grotesque. It was quite grotesque. It was quite horrifying. But I wasn't sure if it was that it wasn't as hardcore as I anticipated it being, or if it was that a lot of the most hardcore stuff was basically given to you in the trailer, and so you kind of expected it to get worse and worse.
Yeah,
and
that's
it never
true.
really did. And I think that might be part of it, is that they didn't hold as much back from the trailer. Now, if they had shown this fucking fucked up thing in the trailer, maybe it would have helped calibrate my expectations. I'm
glad they did, because I was pretty excited.
But at the same time, if you walk in knowing that, maybe it softens the blow, or I don't know. it's probably still the same end result, I guess, but I don't know.
Anyway, that's Alien. I don't have a whole lot else. I mean, non-spoilers. I mean, you got the bit where the face huggers are kind of like stalking their prey a little bit. And he says, run. And that was cool, you know?
Yeah. Did you ever play Alien Isolation video game?
I tried to. It was really fucking scary.
Really scary, yeah.
I wasn't good at
I
it.
saw something that Fede said that like that was one of the things that inspired him in making this movie. So it kind of made me want to go and play that because I have owned it for many years. Might still be in shrink wrap. In fact, perhaps in a box right now.
It's
I'm
pretty
not sure.
fucking scary, dude. But
I
you play
PS4 games
Resident
made it to a
Evil
shelf
in
yet.
VR, so you're just a different cut. I can't handle it.
Is Alien Isolation available in VR?
Stop it. Oh my God. I'd shit myself.
I'm just checking.
Sarah would come into the man cave and I would probably be fucking dead. I'd have a fucking heart attack.
I don't know if you can. I don't know. I think there's a VR mod for the PC version, but I can't do that. I don't have a VR that works with PC, so I'll just play it. I might just
It's pretty
might
cool.
just give it a go. You know, probably maybe October. We'll see.
It's like the same thing as that one horror game that came out forever ago, that indie game where that thing's following you around all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
That was a scary game too. Anyways,
that's Alien and Alien Romulus.
There is a Space Marine video game that's supposed to be really good.
Okay.
It's supposed to be like I think it might be like XCOM like.
Okay. Well, like an Alien Space Marine game. Is that what you're saying? Or like There's been a few good. Well, I mean, the original AVP games were pretty good. Like
those were awesome.
Digging deep back in the day. They did Alien Colonial Marines, which was apparently horrendous. But I think a lot of it was the fact that the AI was really bad, and it turns out someone discovered like 10 years after it came out that it was just a weird coding error of like one character being wrong, and it just it made the AI completely broken in the whole game. Like the behavior of the alien was fucking nonsensical. But I don't know what the name is of the one you're talking about, but I know what you're talking about. So yeah, it's a cool franchise, man. There's just so much room to do cool shit with it. Oh, that was my last thought. My actual last thought. Get away from her, you bitch. Was fucking lame and stupid. Did not need to be in the movie.
I forgot about that.
A super fucking dumb callback. Super fucking dumb. Callback to a thing that hasn't happened yet canonically. So think about that. Stupid, lazy,
stupid. Very stupid.
Just dumb. Like if it makes no sense in universe, don't do it. I know. This is not a franchise that needs fun, cheeky dialogue, lifted wholesale from other movies. You don't need to do that.
That's enough on its own.
It makes your movie actively dumber and makes me feel actively dumber for having thrown money at it. So anyway, didn't like that. Great performance though. I mean, he tried to sell that shit, but there's only so much you can do.
You're not selling that, right?
Especially when that's your line delivery you get, as opposed to "get away from her, you bitch," that sort of thing. So anyway, I'm sure Anna heard that. She probably liked that. She's like, what's going on up there? Anyway, that's Alien Romulus for real this time. So it's time for us to catch up on things. How's the past month been for you? You having a good time over there? How's baby? How's life?
Okay, so past month, what have we got going on? Little baby Bennett. Little baby Bennett's walking around everywhere now. He's fully mobile.
Got 2 little legs, 2 little feet attached to those legs, working pretty well.
Yep, they're kicking around. He's walking all over the place. He's a big climber, likes to climb on everything.
Okay.
Likes to walk over to the trash can and try to open the lid.
That caused some issues, perhaps, yeah.
Yeah,
so he likes
gets in all the cabinets and all that stuff, so I had to put baby, he's all over the place. He's a little wild animal. However, started having more teeth come in.
Oh, okay.
And he's got all sorts of teeth coming in. They all seem to be coming at once, and he is absolutely miserable. So there's a lot of crying.
Oh, yes, teething. Yes, of course.
Teething is fucking the worst. It's very miserable. And then on top of that, he's coming off of some funk that I think I have now.
Little disease vectors. That's children.
Yep. He's doing very well. It's very good. I heard that at school, he is. I've been told that he has a good brain, and that he can match things now. He matches things at school,
Very good.
which is pretty exciting. So that's updates with baby. Work has been slow the past 3 months. It's been shitty slow. So it's been a shit. I'm just glad that I bought tickets to go up to y'all's place.
When you had the cash flow?
When I had the flow, exactly. We'll word it like that. I got a new car, so that's cool. I have a 23 Crown now.
Anything fancy? It's pretty new. Seems pretty new.
Yeah. It's pretty new. It's better than my truck. I'm getting 30 miles. It's a hybrid, which is cool. So that's neat.
Nice. Cool.
What else do we have? I haven't been watching anything. Not lately. I know Lord of the Rings, my guilty pleasure, is back out. I think it's over now, isn't it?
Started. I think it's. I don't know. I'm out of the loop on a lot of shit. So
yeah, you and me both. I haven't watched it. I want to watch it.
I want to say that as of recording, it's still ongoing, but I'd have to fact check it. What's the name of that fucking show? Other than I know it's the Lord of the Rings. The Rings of Power. Yeah. Sometimes my mind. I'm sick right now, so I'll blame it on that. But sometimes my mind blanks. No, it's still going. It will wrap up October 3rd, so a couple of weeks to go.
Cool.
So
I'll just wait till it's done and I'll binge it.
Yes, October 3rd may very well be done by the time this is up. We'll see.
Yeah,
depends. But as of now, you've got a little time before.
I have nothing but intentions, so I intend to watch that. Obviously, I really want to watch that and Agatha all along.
Yeah, and Penguin starts in the next week or so too. On Max.
I'm going to be loaded up.
Getting some stuff definitely going, but nothing. I haven't really been watching much of anything over the past month. Then
no, not really. Yes. So funny little side bit. Me and the baby, we have a routine, right? After shower, after dinner, whatever. When it's time to calm down, we lay on the couch and he'll fall asleep in my arms while we watch TV. So I started playing Ghibli shows, Ghibli movies.
The movies,
we started with I can't remember what we started with. I think we started with Howl's Moving Castle, and then we watched My Neighbor Totoro, and then we watched another one. I can't remember which one it was, but
Princess Mononoke.
I started trying to watch Princess Mononoke. And then, he gets, a demon arm and starts, shooting arrows and blowing people's arms and heads off and shit. And I'm like, oh, no, baby, you can't watch this one. And then Princess Mononoke at one point has, blood, wiped all over her face and whatnot. It's just shit. A
little too intense.
I really want to watch this. This is really good, but I just don't think it's time for you to see this yet.
So I turned it off. You watched The Boy and the Heron yet?
And that's what I was leading to. So last night or the night before, I think it would have been the night before, I started it. But because he's been sick, he hasn't most of the time he'll stay awake for an hour on the couch, and just, drink his baba and, chill out. But here lately he's been falling asleep very, very quickly. And then
not as much movie watching time then.
Yeah. So, I've watched 2 chunks of it, and it is really fucking good. Have you seen it?
Yeah, no, I saw it in theaters.
Oh, good for you. It is, the animation is fucking bonkers. It's so good. Really enjoying my chunks that I've seen.
You got another third or so left, or
yeah, it's just wild. It's such a good movie. Really wild. I'm real sad I didn't see it in theaters and a dedicated sit down and watch it for an hour and a half kind of deal. But I am watching it, which is better than not watching it, right? So, what else do we have? Magic the Gathering. Been doing that. I've got 4 or 5. I got 5 commander decks that I've made, which is good.
All right.
And I've got I'm working on another one with Kalia of the Vast as my commander. It's the one I'm building now. She's a human cleric but she drops some. Whenever Kali of the Vast attacks an opponent, you may put an angel, demon, or dragon creature from your hand onto the battlefield tapped and attacking that opponent. So you can drop cards for free without paying the mana cost, which is pretty nice.
Pretty useful, yeah.
So I'm working on that. Other than that,
just living life, huh?
Just living life, yeah. It's been about it. But life has been fucking moving for you. You've got all sorts of shit going on.
Literally moving, and in some ways, yeah. Lot of stuff going on over here. I think I'm going to try to concentrate it on kind of the same thing, really, I guess, for you, as really just the things that I've been up to in my life, because that has been the most pervasive thing. I no Lord of the Rings of Power for me. I watched like a little bit of stuff here and there, but it's not my usual thing of, I'm knee deep on a TV show or anything like that. Nothing too crazy. So the calm before the storm, to start there, was Anna and I took a trip up to Vermont in August. Kind of like a getaway for a week. I think we were there. I think we were going to be there about a week and a half. We cut it a little short so we could come back and finish packing stuff. But it was a nice, well-needed vacation, because we knew the next few weeks of our life, continuing through right this second, would be rather tumultuous and busy and stuff. So it was very lovely to be up there, enjoy summer weather, enjoy beach time, enjoy good food. I celebrated my birthday up there, which was nice.
Had a nice dude.
Dinner. With Anna and her parents, my in-laws, it was great. Thank you. It was over a month ago now, so I think you did wish me happy birthday back when it happened. So that was nice. It was nice. It was really kind of like, this is good. Life is good. And life is good, but it could be better, or more accurately, it could be way more chaotic, as if the monkey's paw had it curled, and things were going to be thrown at me in my direction after that moment. So we did watch The Parent Trap in Vermont. I'll throw that out there. That is something that we watched up there. Classic Lindsay Lohan.
Yeah.
Lindsay Lohan, double performance, because there's two Lindsay Lohans. I don't know how they cloned her, but it's a very effective thing that they did with cloning her. I think they killed one of the clones after the production, though, because they didn't want the trade secrets to get out there, which is kind of fucked up.
It's actually just CG.
You could only get away with that in the 90s, though. I think that they have rules in place. There's laws in place that you can't do that anymore. So... yeah, no, but really good, and R.I.P. to the clone. Great performance too. No, it's really good.
Dennis Quaid, isn't it?
It is Dennis Quaid. The late Natasha Richardson plays the mother. No, it's really good. I had definitely seen it, but it had been probably a decade plus since I had seen it, and I enjoyed it. Great, rambunctious young Lindsay Lohan performance. You could see why she was a child star for a while there for so I enjoyed it. Would recommend it. It's on Disney Plus. You can watch it. It's fun, zippy, and entertaining, and like, I don't know. It's an interesting sort of thing where, like, it's still a Disney movie, but there's things in that movie that Disney would never fucking do in a movie these days. Like the mom, like, getting drunk at a bar, and just weird shit like that, like, wouldn't be okay to put in a movie this day. OG Bob wouldn't sign off on it if he knew about it anyway. So after Vermont, we came back. We packed up our apartment, as much of our apartment as we could get to, and we made the big move in late August. While we were in Vermont, I guess somewhat backtracking, one of the things, and I don't remember how much I've said about this on the pod. I probably said it between the Deadpool, Acolyte, and Twisters episodes, just talking about the process of getting ready for the move and everything. We closed on the house in early August. Once we closed, we brought in an electrician, because our house is 100 years old and had knob and tube wiring throughout the entire house, which is a big no-no. Not good for safety, getting insured, and plugging in PS5s and computers to record podcasts with and stuff like that. So we had to get the whole house rewired. So it was a big whole project where they're fucking going through, they're tearing walls in the hole. Good Lord. They're tearing holes in the wall, in every room to run the wire throughout the entire house. It's a 3-story house plus a basement. And so, yeah, it was a huge fucking undertaking for our electrician, and, felt good with him. He did quality work. He caught the flu about halfway through doing the job, which really, really fucked up his progress and pacing. And so, in natural contracting sorts of things, what was a 10-day job turned into a 25-day job sort of thing. And we were locked into our move date. And I think that, in retrospect, it may have been beneficial if we were able to move it, but our movers sucked ass. They were incompetent, showed up at the wrong time, kind of just useless and slow, charged us the wrong amount. Just kind of a nightmare sort of disaster experience, worst moving experience I've ever had personally. And I think said that whole day we moved was one of the worst days of our entire life. And part of the problem is that when we came in here, this place was a fucking disaster. Like, it was not done and had not been cleaned. So, oh man, that first week that we were here, that first weekend that we were here, this place was just a shit show, top to bottom.
Oh man.
Contractor dust everywhere. Not all the walls had been patched, so there was still, spackling to be done. Places, it was just, and then there's boxes everywhere and there's furniture everywhere. And, we had furniture delivered that we were going to, try to set up and have installed after we moved in, but we couldn't put it in the rooms because those rooms weren't done. And it was just so much, that, we kind of just had to take it one space at a time. And so we kind of worked in a weird sort of way where we got most of the bedroom furniture set up. And then we went up and did the theater room set up, the den, and got things set up there. And then everything else was just kind of a work in progress for a long time.
It's truly the worst thing when you work all day and you come home and the project leaves
it was so bad. I had to take vacation time. I had taken the vacation time when we were in Vermont because I was on fucking vacation. But then I had to take like almost the whole week off, just so this place could be livable, because we were on a timeline. We had to get out of our apartment. We had to get, all of our shit out of our apartment. We needed to, we had left a few things in there that we wanted to move ourselves. And we thought, well, it's not going to be a big deal because we'll be able to just, unpack boxes, bring boxes back and grab the rest of what we need. And then we can clean the whole thing up. But we were so busy over here just trying to get everything situated that like the apartment kind of got left to the last minute. And the way that we gave ourselves like a week plus buffer time of, we'll have 10 days of crossover from when we do our big move to having time to go back and grab, the valuables and stuff that we left at the apartment and clean it up and do a nice thorough clean, get the security deposit back, blah, blah, blah. And everything was just so backed up and chaotic here that ended up getting backed up and becoming chaotic in its own right.
Oh, man.
And so we're just run ragged, just working to the bone, just getting everything in this house where it needed to be. We ended up painting and, doing some painting ourselves, where the walls had been covered. So this room we repainted where it needed to be repainted. We did have professionals come out and do the whole first floor, living room, dining room, kitchen, which so much surface area there because the ceilings are higher there. There's no way we would have done that ourselves. I think we would have dropped dead.
Yeah.
But so we're
painting
putting
fucking
some serious
sucks.
dough into all this happening. Painting does fucking suck. I mean, it obviously needs to be done. It obviously looks better. But we've got places here like hallways and like the third floor bathroom, like there's just walls that are just completely partially white where, they had to go through the wall and run the wiring, and that all needs to be repainted and stuff like that. So it's still very much a work in progress overall, but we finally have all our furniture where it needs to be. We have a new dining room table and chairs. We have a couch on the first floor. The TV was set up for the longest time. We didn't have the TV set up down there because we needed to repaint where the TV was going. We had to have a contractor come out and expand kind of the space where the TV was going to go. So it's I don't know, rough percentages. It's probably about 75% there now.
Right, that's good.
But we've been here for about 3 weeks, and we're where we wanted to be probably one weekend, so that just kind of, it's just, and inevitably things take longer than you realize. You get tired, you get exhausted, and I'm sick right now, so I'm not fucking,
it's going to delay it even more. So,
right. Definitely not doing anything right now, but yeah, and so, and you still got to work, right? So, can't take vacation time for a month, even if I'd like to.
Especially with a mortgage coming down the pipeline too,
coming around the corner, just a couple weeks time, we'll have our first proper mortgage payment due.
Yeah.
But it's all worth it. I mean, it's a labor of love. Obviously, you've been a homeowner for quite some time yourself, and since
it never ends.
Obviously Sarah came along, you guys have done so much with that house, and poured your guys poured yourselves into making that home a home, making that house a home, I guess, and I could not do it without Anna. 1,000%.
I could not do it without Sarah.
she is definitely pushes me to, and she's the handy one. She likes doing the drilling and stuff like that. I'm fine. I'm happy to hold something that needs to be held and supervise and lend moral support if needed. As soon as that theater room is set up, I'm like, I'm good. I'll put the Blu-rays on the shelf. I did do that. Got the Blu-rays on the shelf. So we're good there. But yeah, by the time you come and visit, which is probably a bit over a month away, we'll be in really good shape. And we're probably a couple weeks away from, I don't want to say being fully unpacked, because are you ever fully really unpacked?
Right.
But we are knocking on the door. Our basement's accessible. We can organize the basement, and it's got to be cleaned up a little bit down there. But so close. We still have cardboard that needs to be recycled from furniture boxes, and so we're like, we're really close in a lot of ways, but we still have a lot to do. But it almost finally now feels like, all right, now the finish line is in sight. Now we're just doing the fucking thing of putting books away, or
as long as when you get home, you're not
up.
Stressed out beyond measure because the house is in such like when I painted the cabinets. Yeah, there was nothing. The complete kitchen was tore apart and quarantined and stuff. Every time I'd come home, I was reminded the fact that I still had 80 hours worth of work left. You know what I mean?
For sure.
It's awful.
Yeah.
Awful.
No, we are past that stage where it was like that in almost every room, where it was just like
infuriating every time you come home.
I'm closing the door to this room because I cannot be fucked right now. I cannot be fucked.
Yeah.
But we're settling in nicely overall. Really like it down here. I mean, it's easy enough to get to work for both of us. Different neighborhood than where we were living, but we just have so much more space. Obi's settling in. We built him a little potty patch because we have a backyard space that he can kind of go out to that's fenced in, so he can go pee out there. We don't have like a good green space as close as we had before, but he was getting to the point where he was on potty strike most of the time anyway. We had to drag him outside because he didn't want to do the routine of the hallway, elevator, lobby, across the street, up into the park sort of thing. He was sick of that, and quite frankly, I was fucking sick of it too. So this has been much nicer, and I think he's appreciative of it too. But yeah, I mean, homeowning, man. You told me about all the things that would go into it, all the projects, and and I always looked from afar thinking like, oh, I'm not going to do all these fucking projects, dude. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, it's a house. I just want to fucking live in it, and I don't need to fucking do anything with it. But, and I think once we get to a point, we'll take a break, and settle and enjoy things for a little bit. But then something's gonna be well, I don't really like this. We should change it to be this way. We should do this.
Yeah.
So it's inevitable, and I can already see it happening. And oh my God, if I have to mention one thing, I've been watching a lot of Love It or List It.
You're on the HGTV deal.
Yeah, it's the streaming on Max, so we've been watching a lot of that, which is fun to see. people with other, issues. We've seen several episodes where like, actually we open up your walls. So we're going to take down this wall to make it an open concept. And turns out all your
support beam right there in the middle.
All your wiring is 100 years out of date. All your support beam actually isn't supporting anything. This house is going to fall any minute. I have to install a metal support beam now. And I look at these things and I'm like, well, it could be worse. It could be worse.
Yeah.
People have these issues. It's inevitable with, a house that's obviously as old as this, but we're making it our own, for sure, our own space. Really looking forward to having you guys up here to stay. You'll have a guest room. You'll have a guest room to enjoy, which is set up, has a few, boxes in there that need to be unpacked and stuff. But I think come November, yeah, for sure, you guys are going to have a nice space.
It'll be a good weekend
for a weekend.
I'm excited about it.
Yeah, no, it'll be good. It'll be good. So I'm gonna leave it there. I think that's been the bulk of everything that I've been up to. I haven't been doing a lot of watching. I haven't played a lot of college football 25 on the PS5 as my mental decompression break type of thing. The Gators have won the national championship, so I do have a new gig. I can't talk about it in specifics, but I have started a new job, which I'm about a week and a half into, and so far so good. Happy with things. So
good. That's awesome.
Lots of life changes. Celebrated my 2-year anniversary of being married yesterday as well. We cooked a little dinner at home. I went after I was done with my day at my new job. I went over to Reading Terminal Market, went to the butcher shop, picked up 2 fillets, and brought them home and did a little reverse sear action on them. Okay. Started in the oven, finished it with the cast iron, and we did some pasta we had like a truffle pesto that we had bought in Italy last year that we had not used at all. So we did that together, and then some rainbow carrots all together. So we did a little home cooked meal, some Anna made amaretto sours. We had champagne. But by the time we were ready for champagne, it was like 11 o'clock, and I was like, yeah, we both got to work tomorrow. So, and I wasn't feeling great. So I was like, I don't think, given that I have to work and that I am not like tip top shape, I think I should probably not push things. So, that'll probably be maybe a Friday night. We'll bust out the champagne. We'll see. But yeah, lots going on as can be summarized in however many minutes I have taken to summarize those things. But I can tell that my throat is punishing me now, so I think we can probably wrap this up now. So, I'm okay. All right. I'm looking at the script. I'm going to follow the script. I know what to do. Thank you all for listening. If you enjoyed what you heard, spread the word. You can support us on patreon.com/watchreviewrepeat. It is very, very good for early access. And I said as much at the beginning of the episode that, our Acolyte and Deadpool episodes sat on Patreon for a long, long time before they went up on the regular feed. For the fucking reasons that I think I've outlined pretty clearly of why I've been so busy and haven't had as much time, to edit as I would like. If you want to support us on Patreon, you can get early access to episodes like this, whatever we do in the future. Maybe we'll do a bonus episode or two. I will say to those who are listening to this through the Patreon version, I apologize for, you are definitely hearing the less polished version of this where you hear me coughing every 5 minutes. So I apologize for that. You just play a game. It's more fun. You play a game. Was that Andrew or Colton? Who could, I can't tell who coughed. But yeah, we certainly appreciate the support that we get from anyone on Patreon. So check it out. Our website, otherwise, watchreviewrepeat.com will get you links to all of our social medias that we're on. Most recent episodes, it's got everything you need basically about the podcast. So, if you'd like to go straight to our social medias, directly to them, we're on Twitter at WRRpod. We are on Facebook, at facebook.com/watchreviewrepeat. And we are on Instagram at watchreviewrepeat as well. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, you can send them our way to watchreviewrepeat@gmail.com. I did have like one or two things that could have made a listener's corner this episode, but I'm going to hold that, for a future episode. I think, sorry to skip over you. I just knew we had a lot on our plate this episode, and if I can keep this thing under 3, then I'm feeling really good about things. I'm feeling really good about this. That's pretty damn good for us for the amount of things that we had to say and catch up on for a month plus. Those are usually the ones that things get crazy. So the tea helped. The tea definitely helped. I think keep me on track, which maybe helps keep everyone on track. Perhaps, I don't know. But either way, watchreviewrepeat@gmail.com. If you got something to say, send it our way. Credit to Kevin MacLeod for his track Mechanolith, Incompetech.com. That's our intro and outro track, in case that wasn't clear. It's licensed under the Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0 license. We haven't decided or talked about even what we're doing next. So I put in the script that we could do one Beetlejuice. Don't say it a third time. I have seen it. I don't know if you've seen it in theaters yet.
Not yet, no. But I have this weekend coming up off.
Yeah, so that's one that we could talk about. I think Transformers 1 is rolling into theaters the next couple of days. Yeah, we've got options, I'm sure. So certainly something will make sense to cover when we have both watched something and have time to sit down and record again. So we'll figure out what it is. Andrew floated the idea of doing some bonus episodes, some themed bonus episodes again. I don't know if he's still on that train, but we'll have those conversations. We'll figure it out, and we'll be back. And hey, we are back, okay? We are back, and we will continue to be back. We are so back, okay? Anyway, I will let Andrew take everyone out.
Hey, everyone, take care now. Bye-bye then.
Laters on the Menche.